accept defeat. This is our story. Rebel against destroyers of our peace. And rising up we shall find our battle cry of hope and victory.
All right. Hey, everyone. It's the big day. It is the Rebellion release day. I know there's been a lot of big days recently, but hopefully that doesn't make them any less awesome and exciting. Getting them all back to back here. But we got a bunch of team members on. We have kind of a big stream and release event planned while the developers and the server team are busy actually putting this out and live on the production servers. I'm very thankful to not be in the trenches on that anymore these days. But yeah, I mean, for this beginning part, I'm mostly going to turn it over to Nate and the creative team who we have on the call here to tell us about Rebellion and the story and how we got to this point here.
No, for sure. And I just want to say that, I saw that what is it, Dragon in on the YouTube channel was saying how the music gives him goosebumps. I just want to give a big shout out to Asaria who sang and composed. And then I think, you hear the Vanak. I think After Sound contributed his part. And I think we had another composer kind of help tinker with it to get it just right and polished up. But in addition to the audio, the art, Madi as art lead, who is on the call, as well as the art team, and Benham, our animator. Just all the music, the sound effects, the art, the animation, the overall narrative that Joey and Dan contributed to kind of like set the stage for what is happening with this set. What is Rebellion? What is and I think it really speaks to we've done other trailers in the past. We had other card sets in the past. But I think one of the biggest parts about Rebellion, above and beyond, of course, the obvious mechanics and the cool new features and functionality, is also going to be the storytelling element, which has always been a big deal to me since I'm a big fan of emotional investment. What can we do to kind of like make the player base become battle mages and care about what happens in this game? It's not just a card game. It's your story being told, and there's a lot of ideas being tossed around on how we can elevate that both in the community and internally in creative. But just to introduce everyone who's on the call, because some of these guys, maybe you guys out there in the community don't know, we have let me think, with the hat, we have Madi, who is the art lead for creative. For those of you who attended Splinterfest, then he wasn't there physically, but you might have seen him stream a recording that we put on the huge, IMAX screen thing that we had going on there. And he was kind of giving a little bit of, highlights as to the previous year and where we came from and the evolution of the art styles and stuff like that. So I look forward to hearing from him in a sec. And then we have Roy, who is UX design. For those of you who are wondering, how does Splinterlands, try to wrap its head around all this complexity? I mean, blockchain is not an easy thing. There's a lot to explain, a lot to figure out. Trying to turn this thing into a game with all the complex tokenomics and economy stuff that Matt comes up with in his fever nights dreams, and he wakes up and he goes nuts. So somehow we got to take all this complexity and figure out, like, okay, how do we simplify it? How do we make it digestible and comprehensible to the players so that they can kind of like understand it? And we have a long ways to go, no doubt. But without Roy, I can imagine that we'd be lost. And then of course we have Joey, which is to me, he's the narrative lead, and as the narrative lead, he represents to me kind of like the beating heart of where we want to take things story wise, where we want to take things emotionally. Him and Cal Jericho are both leading the charge to kind of figure out the overreaching story and the plots and the subplots. And when you guys go play with your land plots, and you see these little descriptions under the region, or maybe you wonder what's happening in the wilds in between these regions on the map. Joey and Cal Jericho have a lot of ideas as to what's going on in between there. And hopefully a lot of those ideas might spawn into someday other forms of gameplay or other types of experiences and cool adventures. So that, right. And of course, everyone knows Matt already. So that's everyone on the call and myself, Nate. So we're going to take a little bit of time and just kind of like, we don't have an agenda. We don't have like we didn't, ahead of this call, we didn't sit down and say, what are we going to talk about? It was more like, Ron, what do we do? And Ron was like, come up with some, guys. You guys are creative and it's going to be exciting. I was like, okay. So we're just probably going to chat about, Rebellion, how it came to be, what you guys' thoughts are. I'll start off with the overall process. It's been whenever we have a major core set like this, creative starts well in advance, way before engineering, way before everyone. It's just ideas. Like, what should Rebellion be? I think as far back as maybe even a couple years back, maybe even 3 years ago, we were conceptualizing what that card set would be named. What is the general concept behind it? Like, what is it? Just a really high level, like super high level. And so it takes a little bit of time to think through, like, major card sets if you want to really add that oomph to it. So as far back as Splinterfest, which was like a year ago, we were already showing, the players like, hey, here's some ideas of what we're kind of thinking for a year down the road. And now a year's gone by and we're here and we can kind of dig into some of those ideas and how they evolved and what's been happening. So I'll start off with our overall pipeline. Creative typically starts off with an idea of like, well, what should we do? And usually that starts a lot of the times in narrative, the storytelling of it all. And usually that becomes like, well, let's make the theme this. And if the theme is this, then we got characters like this, and that results in art prompts. The art prompts are created by a narrative team and handed off to the art team. Madi and the art team take that stuff and say, okay, sounds like a great idea. Do you mean this? Do you mean that? And then we kind of conceptualize what these characters and what this world building will look like. After that bleeds into, a whole bunch of other stuff. Meanwhile, in parallel, while they're working, we got UX, we got Roy and Tyler. So Roy, who's on the call, is UX, and he's thinking of like, well, okay, as Call Me Tim or as Matt or as any other engineers, we're collaborating with them to figure out like, okay, here's what we want to do differently mechanics wise or economics wise or whatever. How do we do this? And that's where Roy comes in, and we got flow charts and we're trying to wireframe and we're trying to figure out the best way to accomplish what it is we're trying to set out to do. As he's doing that, we're identifying new graphics, new background art, new this, new that has to go into these concepts, these prototypes, these layouts. And so that bleeds back into the art team, and we got more people working on it. Over time, Asaria might get involved with maybe a little background music, a little bit of sound effects. In fact, I was just listening recently to her sound effect for a timer for the tactics stage. So we got to get that in there. And then you got animation, and then, all the rest of the stuff, the UI design, the final polish of where the buttons go and what color they are. All of this stuff finally, maybe a year later gets put into cloud folders for the dev team. And they're given permission and access to the layout specs and the color values and the pixel dimensions. They get access to all the assets, whether it is character art or whether it is card frames or whether it's banners or backgrounds, all of that good stuff. And it's just such an involved process. So I'll start with, I guess, the beginning of the pipeline. Joey, what do you, I don't know. It's been a long time coming. How do you feel about this set? What did you have to do differently, or how did you have to think differently in order to tackle what Rebellion has become?
Yeah, so I think this is the first set where we actually created the story before we created the cards. So before we even came up with character concept, we wrote the story of the rebellion. So it's not like a book; it's an outline. So it begins here, go through the hero's journey, we get to the end, and then we figured out, hey, what are the characters that need to populate this story to tell it? So we started creating the character concepts from there. So like the start of the story kind of begins with the Silver Shield. So we created some characters there, and as the story progresses, we decided, hey, who do we need to tell this? And then when we actually created the rebellion cards, handed off the art prompt to Madi and his team, we wrote the lore for Rebellion, and we wrote it as a backstory. So when you check out the lore for the Rebellion, it's not, hey, the Rebellion's launched, the Rebellion's over. That's not what we did. What we did was we told the story of each one of these characters, of how has the conquest of the Splinterlands and the rise of the Chaos Empire, how has it affected all these people? Where are they at in their lives? How did they start? Where did they end up right before the rebellion begins? So it's all interwoven, and I hope everybody really checks out that lore, because I mean, well, I wrote it, so I think it's cool. Dan and I wrote it. But if you look at it, it has hyperlinks to Splinter lore in it now, which is something else that's new. So when we talk about the Calamenti system and the Chaos Empire and the Rift Watchers and all their regional commands, you can be like, what the heck? What is going on here? Well, you can click the link and you can find out more about the Splinters, the Belarusian Empire, the Knights of the Silver Shield, Kanasan, the Republic of Fireborough, all this stuff. So we're trying to create more immersive with these characters, a holistic approach, and eventually where we want to get to is even more immersive and interactive, where the players of the story are the heroes of this hero's journey that they actually experience, rather than just an auto battler.
No, I love it. And you mentioned the Belarusian Empire. You made me sad recently, because I think that's the one with Lord of Darkness, right?
Yeah, so there's a different Lord of Darkness now. If you check out Bear Skooker's lore, he's actually taken over the Belarusian Empire at this point. And his greater demon, Averus Deus, if you're interested or wondering how you actually pronounce that card, they're aligned together. And they've taken over the Belarusian Empire and the Dark Eternals. And Demise Archon Faust, he was the leader of the Dark Eternals. He's now in exile, being helped by the Rift Watchers to kind of rebuild so they can take back what was once theirs.
Yeah, I think at some point we're going to have to make another book.
No, for sure. I mean, Joey is an accomplished author. How many books do you have published, Joey?
So I have two. I self-published. My first one was a bestseller on Amazon. My second one did pretty good, and I'm halfway through my third, but I haven't worked on it since working for Splinterlands, because I just enjoy the world building and the lore, and telling the stories of these characters and the players that populate it.
Nice. So I would say that, you know, this world, I would hands down. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like most card games don't go to this length. Like, yeah, they add a little flavor. Yeah, they add a little bit of, you know, backstory to something. Or you look at a Magic the Gathering card and it has a little script inscription on the card just to give it some, you know, some character or something. But what we have here before us is, I mean, I can't wait for the day where we leverage the world building that we have. To me, that's a huge, valuable asset in the Splinterlands ecosystem, and it makes it so much easier to, as we entertain the notion of more gameplay modes, or even third-party development, or, you know, just growing the ecosystem as big as it can, knowing that there is lore.splinterlands.com, knowing that there's this reference already there, ready to go. You know, you want to know about the cultures, the kingdoms, the languages, the economies. You want to know about the races. You want to know about all this stuff. You essentially created a campaign world that represents a sandbox that, you know, anyone who has a license with Splinterlands to kind of get permission to play in that sandbox, who knows what could happen. I mean, there's just so much potential there. And the bigger the sandbox get and the more people play in that sandbox that you've created for everybody, Joey, is it just represents like how big this thing can get, right? it's mind-boggling when you think about the legacy that the lore could potentially represent. But let's talk about how it bleeds into the artwork. So at some point, so help me understand. You and Cal Jericho come up with, after you come up with a theme and the storylines and all this stuff. Which, I mean, talk about storylines again. The focus here. I know, I have to keep begging Matt. Like someday I'll wear Matt down, or we'll have the assets or the resources to do it. But someday I want to bring the player center stage. I want to make it their story, this game, and I want them to feel like they're a hero in the Splinterlands. And I look forward to when that story mode is possible. That's my dream. I'm hoping, whether it happens tomorrow or a year from now or 5 years or 20 years, or I'm an old man, someday it's going to happen. I hope so. So I'm really happy about the lore, but taking that lore and turning it into art. Explain how you guys make the art prompts for Madi, and then we can hand off to Madi and see, like, what do you do from there, Madi?
Yeah, so we one of the things we've done is we've written a description of what each one of the races looks like, and we have a huge taxonomy, which will eventually be published to Splinter Lore when it's ready. But when we come up with the art prompts, we look at that. And so elves have pointy ears. There's different colors of minotaurs and different races. Then we look at who the character is, what their splinter is. And if you've noticed on Splinter Lore, each one of the splinters has a different banner. So you might be dressed in the armor of the Silver Shield, or the armor of the Dwarven Kingdom of Grimbardoon. And then we figure out who the character is, what they look like, and Cal Jericho basically brainstorm. And then we give Maddie basically a paragraph of, hey, they should be wielding a sword, or they're an archer, or they cast a fireball that's blue, or whatever. And we also provide some references from Google Images. It might look like this, might look like that. And then Madi and his team run with it. And I hope everyone agrees. I think that Rebellion is like next level. And I love the artwork that they came up with based on our concepts.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork, it took us some time. Madi, how long do you think it would take us before we finally got the entire art team? Because this has been a priority for the past year. We're like, okay, everyone has their own styles. Everyone is naturally inclined to, go more bright colors or more dark colors, or thicker lines or thinner lines, or this, that, and the other. I think Rebellion represents the first time where we kind of we achieved a certain level of consistency, where it gets harder and harder to tell, well, which artist did that, because there's a lot of people in the kitchen. And it took us some time to come up with the standards for what that art style should be. How do we get everyone on board to achieve that same art style for consistency's sake? And how can we, use that kind of art style in the future? What makes it better to achieve that art style versus, let's say, a lot of people are playing with AI nowadays, and they spit out this really hyper realistic looking artwork, which in my mind, it just kind of like becomes white noise with all the other fantasy card games. Like you look at it and you can't tell if it's hyper realistic. Is that Hearthstone? Is it that? Is it that? And then also, I don't know. I mean, hyper realism looks cool, but sometimes it doesn't have the same soul. It almost feels too real, like it's artificial in some sense. It doesn't have soul to me. It doesn't have the same character, the same personality as maybe your favorite cell shaded anime show, right? And so as we get into storytelling, it was important to me to be able to make it so that the artwork would be prepared for rigging and for animation and for things that would allow us to tell stories there in the game. But Madi, I crack the whip a little bit sometimes, and you're probably, oh my gosh, Nate, stop. But how do you feel about the overall process and how we ended up, and how did we get there? And once Joey gives you the art prompts, what happens after that?
Yeah, so let me tell you, like this style, the style for Rebellion, like it was a journey for sure, because like when you recalled Splinterfest before, like it was almost like over a year ago, and back then we already had we were doing some sketches for Rebellion that you guys have seen on Splinterfest. So it's been a journey for sure, and it took us a lot of attempts to figure out the style that we have. But I think what you just said is very interesting, because we have so many artists on board, and everybody has different experiences, different styles that they developed over the years, and figuring out the style that everyone will be able to adjust to. It's very difficult task to do, and I think drawing a lot of inspiration from animation and shows that we watch all the time on Netflix or any other in other places. I think this is a good advantage for us, because those styles that you can see in those animations, you can just break them down to very simple steps that you can follow, and this way we can create a style that no matter who's gonna attempt the drawing, the style will look cohesive, no matter which artist paints this. And that's how we ended up with the style that we have for Rebellion. And I must say that I'm very pleased with what we came up with, and I wonder what we're gonna do next with what we have so far, like how the style will develop in future sets. So I think what we came up with is very cool, and I'm honestly very happy that we ended up with a style that we have right now. And also the other thing is the frame itself, which also is a change of the style on its.
Oh
on its
yeah,
own,
the
right?
art frame took a while for us, didn't we? I think we were
Yeah.
like half the creative department was in I don't know how many people know what Miro is. Miro's like a digital whiteboard solution for teams to collaborate in a whiteboard environment with little post-it notes and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we were in that digital whiteboard environment together, collaboratively, trying to like compare like all the other frames out there in the gaming industry, right? And like try to figure out like, well, what's the right thing for us? And yeah, I think the players will probably be interested in knowing how you feel about the evolution of the frame.
Yeah, like when it comes to the frame and also to the style itself of the cards, like I think, like you mentioned before, you mentioned the AI before, like Midjourney and other generative resources, and I think even drawing like them as a reference, like using them as a reference, is very misleading for us. Like we could use them like one-to-one, but then it will be just a copy of what AI makes, and yeah, I think it will be just a drawback for us, and it's better to use something as a reference, as AI or other games that we are researching, and use them as an inspiration for us to create something that will be our own. And this way we'll come up with our own style, and hopefully someone else will use our game as a reference for their own game. And I think this is very cool. And also the frame itself, like I think it was also a very long journey, but I think we ended up with something that highlights the artwork itself. I think this is what we're looking. We're looking for an improvement to show the artwork in the best way possible. We want to show the character that narrative is creating, and the rest is supposed to like support it, not overpower it, not overpower it in some way. So I think this was also a very cool task. So, and I think we succeeded, and hopefully everyone will enjoy the frames as we do, right?
No,
So-
I think the ones we showed at Splinterfest were more minimalistic. And I think over time you decided, you know what, let's add a little bit more ornamentation. Let's kind of, and then with Goldframe, we went a little bit further, right?
Yeah. And when it comes to actually like leading a team and like helping everyone, like from my standpoint, I think it's very cool that we try to adjust the process to include everyone on board when creating the character. Because when you think about creating the character, you might think, okay, the artist is just drawing the painting and we put it in the frame, but it's much more than that. We have, like as Joey said, we have like a whole story for each character that you'll be able to read, and then we create an artwork for this. But then we have to think about UX UI that Roy does, and like even when it comes to the frame, like we need to remember that UX is also important, and the character must be readable and not overpower the information that you will have on the frame itself and on the website. So I think what was cool and what we weren't thinking about that much before is this whole process of including everyone in the creation of the character, because it's not only about the art, but it's also about like usability and UX and the story, and it's like each character went through this whole process of creation, which is very cool. And I actually really enjoyed like working with everyone, not only the artists.
No,
So
that's a good point. Is that it's funny because um we call it the art team, but kind of like how we changed the narrative team from writers to narrative designers. I don't think the art team just does art. Like
yeah,
at every level, we're always thinking about the logical design of it all. How does the user feel about this? What are they going to see? How are they going to feel when they see it? And how are they going to react to that? And how can we design this better? And that's not typically something an artist naturally does.
Mhm.
Art usually is about, I'm creating this sculpture, this painting to make people feel sad or happy or to have this reaction to it. Design is a little bit different beast, and you and the art team had to kind of like pivot and learn and to adapt and adjust to a design mentality where design means to have the strategic purpose. There's metrics behind it. Whereas art, you don't typically go to a gallery and think, well, this art succeeds or this art fails. It's like, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Everything's subjective. But for design, you can succeed, you can fail. There are metrics by which you can determine whether this design was a good design or a bad design. Was it intuitive? Does the player engage with it? Do they understand it? And more as the art team has been collaborating with Roy, who we're going to talk to next, then more of that comes into play. And Joey, just all the cogs have to like be in total synchronization, right? And so
yeah,
I think
and another thing that I want to highlight actually is like I must say that I'm very proud of our art team, because when you take a look at the previous sets, like I hopefully you can also see the difference in the artwork and the quality. And I must say, like, this is all the time the same team that we're using to create the art. Like we have the same art team all these years, and then everyone improved so much, and you can tell it by the artwork that you can see in the frames. And like when you see the quality that is right now, hopefully you'll see even better artworks in the future. And I must like applaud to our artists, because I can tell there is like so much hard work that went to those artworks, and hopefully you're gonna like them as much as we do.
And thank you so much, Marty, because there is so many times we have an art meeting every week, a little early in the morning. Well, for me it's a little early. For others in the United States, it could be extra early, because we have an international team, and so many of the artists are spread all over the world. So we're always trying to find the right time zone where the most people can connect and collaborate. And we have such a passionate team that some people it's 1 a.m, other ones it's 7 a.m, other ones it's in the afternoon, but we all commit to it. We all say, you know what, not only should we be there, we want to be there. That's the sense I get every time I'm on our team meetings are awesome, man, because everyone is so happy and enthusiastic, and you're on there, and you could be hard, just like I'm hard on you. You could be hard on them. You have such high standards, Marty. You're not afraid to say, you know what, this is not that great, dude. We could do better, and no one on the art team is like, oh, it's more like, okay, yeah, I can do better, boss. Let's do it. And usually the advice that you give them is so specific, and so every meeting that I see you guys that we're discussing art and the direction, and is this a good character or a bad character, or what do we do here, the background, whatever. I feel like everyone walks away smarter. Everyone literally just by attending the meeting, and this is the beauty. I'm not a fan of meetings. I don't think Matt's a fan of meetings either. Like just setting up a meeting just to talk, it just feels like a waste of time, right? So many corporate meetings are like that. But for the art team meeting, I genuinely, sincerely, authentically believe that every single artist in that meeting walks away having grown and become a better artist as a result of attending that meeting. And that's crazy to me. And that's all because of you. I hear you talking about color values and gradients, shading and lighting, strokes, and how better to adjust the perspective, and what can we do to add more personality or drama to the scene or whatever. And by the end of it, the artist has left and become a better artist. So thank you very much, Marty. I can't say enough as to the value and the contribution that you bring to the team.
Yeah, I might be going to the wrong meetings. Is the problem? I should start going to the art meetings.
There you go. There you'll walk out sketching and drawing, and so now that we talked about the narrative that started the ball rolling, and that's rolled into the art that's being developed, that art has to go somewhere. So that usually it's not always Roy, but Roy's funny because Roy, I would say, out of most people that I've ever met, has the heart of a lion. This guy is always positive. He's constant. He doesn't understand the word can't or no or impossible. Like I could literally throw anything at the guy and say, have it done in 15 minutes. And he'll be like, okay, man, let me drop what I'm doing. I'll get to it. And my concern has always been, he never says no. So if I keep throwing stuff out of him, I might lose track of how many tasks I've given him without realizing that there's no way that a human being can handle that much. But Roy takes it on the chin like a friggin' champ. And so, lots of times he'll end up not only doing the UX, the user experience, which is a lot of the flow charts and the wireframing, but he won't stop. He'll keep going. He'll be like, by the time he's done, I'm like, wait a minute, you did the UI too, which is for the user interface as well. So the UX is typically very high level, very logical, very much trying to think of, here's our demographic, here's what their needs are, here's how their psychology of what it is that they're playing the game for. Is it for financial reasons? Is it for emotional reasons? Is it for entertainment? Is it for something else? What's the purpose here? What are they trying to achieve here? And how can we make this intuitive and easy to understand and get them to what they want to do as quickly as possible without any friction? That's typically UX. That's typically what he's trying to do. And then UI being, well, how beautiful does it look? How accessible does it look? Does it evoke emotion when I'm engaging with it? And Roy has been equally adept at handling both sides, which is weird because a lot of companies put UX and UI together. They lump them together and say, it's the same thing. It's not. It's so not. It's almost polar opposite things because they use completely different sides of the brain. UX, you got to use the logic, and then UI, you're kind of like, appealing to the emotional, right? And so you're kind of approaching things a little bit differently when you do UX versus UI, and Roy is able to do both rather well. So Roy, when you're finally, getting the artwork and the narrative, because you got like, now we're kind of making a U-turn now, because while those guys are working, you're working in parallel, and you may be giving them tasks. You may be saying, hey, Joey, I need a copy for this layout. I need a description, some text to explain what's going on this shop page. Or you might say, Mari, I need a background for this, and it needs to kind of represent this because this is what's going on the layout. Maybe you're transferring SPS to a player, or dark energy crystals need to be staked. What should that look like? This is what's happening. Help me out here. So I don't know, Roy, kind of step us through what is it that you do? And what are the big challenges? And more specifically, how did it change, or how did you feel about doing it for Rebellion? What are some of the things you had to do for Rebellion that were different than previously?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Nate. But yeah, you never give too much work. It's always good. But to let you guys in through, so Spinlands, the reason why we are so fun to play and accessible and like have such a great community is the fact that we have two facets of it. So we have the blockchain and the trading and all the financial part of it, but then we also have the universe that Mari and Joey create, which is the kind of the immersive stuff that players love. So these two key factors kind of contribute to game success. So people play for that reason, that they can have kind of the financial freedom and trading through these games, but they can also experience the rich lore and the art of this game. So my job kind of feels on both sides of getting users from point A to B, or letting them do easy actions, or having accessible content at their fingertips. So making sure that my layouts and stuff like that, that things that I do in parallel while Mari and Joey, let's say, working on art, is that to create interfaces and stuff like that, which kind of takes our complex screens and stuff like that and kind of condenses them into something usable. So essentially simplifying our blockchain interfaces and stuff like that. And then the real challenge comes in with the UI part, in which okay, I have this really technical screen with all of these nicks and knacks and these filters and stuff like that. Now, how do I make it a living and breathing screen which would exist in the Spindlelands universe? So how would I integrate Maddie's fantastic art or Joey's fantastic lore into this page? And how can you convert like a traditional shopping experience into like buying these magical cards and then opening them and seeing like these animations play out? So kind of like this balancing act of having a super technical game with all of these technical features and having these rapid strategies and a deep gameplay experience, and balancing them with like a rich lore and rich art, and trying to convey both of them in like the best possible light. That's, I would say, it's the biggest challenge. And I think Spindlelands, at Spindlelands, you and I always try to do that. We try to have like a balancing act in which we try to not over engineer but also deliver on the visual interfaces of it. And Rebellion, being one of our most ambitious projects, had like the most amount of changes when it comes to our traditional UI, the things that we already have, like the legacy UI in the game. So, for example, we have dual element summoners. So we have new battle systems coming in. We have new card layouts, like card needs to be cataloged in different ways with different elements and stuff like that. So how do we work on that? So the UX part of it would be to just figure out what would the player experience be like, because we are a game which is rapid strategy, but then we have a turn-based component now in the starting. So how do we kind of blend these two gameplay formats into one and create a cohesive experience? So that's kind of on the technical side of figuring out like how would this gameplay experience work and how can we create like a cohesive experience throughout. And then in Rebellion, we have like such rich lore coming out, and it's basically kind of like the pinnacle of like the story coming to where the Chaos Legion is fighting the Rebellion party. So how to convey that grand scale into like our UI, because people won't be seeing much of like, let's say, artwork on a scale, but they will see the artworks in the shop pages itself or in the cards itself. So kind of trying to push that into highlight too, to show the grandness of the project. And essentially trying to blend that gameplay features, as I said, and also like trying to show off these cool abilities and the cool new features that we have added. So Rebellion has been like a big balancing act, kind of readjusting our legacy screens, changing them. And we also have a lot more stuff in the works already for it, and that we'll plan to release more. But that's been my major focus, just to how to take our old systems, which were made for our older sets and our older gameplay features, and then also relaunch them along with the new gameplay features that we're already launching. And yeah, I think working with Joey and Maddie has been absolutely fantastic. Joey essentially writes all the copy that you guys see. Joey and Nate, you both write all the copies. So that's great because I'm terrible at English. And Maddie essentially creates what a simple shopping experience into like this magical thing in which you're feeling like you're part of the Rebellion. And I work with Tyler, who is, believe it or not, works way harder than I ever do. So don't let him know that I said that. But he's basically like the yin to my yang, because he is so good at pushing out UI that I could give him technical specs and he would have it ready in like 1 hour. So it's been great working with him and also the entire team.
Wow, nice. So I mean, it's cool that you guys get to be on the call, because I think it's important to give credit to, you know, the hard workers that made this possible. Too often, like, you know, people see my face or Matt's face or someone else's face on a town hall, and we kind of lose sight of like who's actually doing all this work. It's not Nate, it's not Matt, it's you guys. So I big, you know, salute, hats off. I really appreciate you guys. For Rebellion specifically, as we get through maintenance and we approach, you know, finally, you know, it being released to everybody, is there any favorite things about Rebellion? Things that you kind of like, this is my favorite thing about what we did, what we've been working on for the past year. This is the thing that I want people to look at the most. What would that be? I mean, we'll start off with, I guess, Madi. We'll start off with you.
Well, like the most important thing to me is like that we highlighted the characters this time. Like the character in the artworks, in the frames are the most important part, and this is what makes me happy the most. Like that we focus on art a lot, and I think I think this is the most cool part for me.
What would you say is your favorite? I'm trying to think of how to. I guess you're the art lead, so let's base it on how it looks. What do you? How, in your opinion, what's the best looking character in the set?
I don't know. Like there is a lot. I have my favorites, but I think the the Karst Harpy, if the name is still the same. I think this is the cool one because she just matches the element the most for me. And and the expression is so cool, and the pose and the design, and this character was painted by Paolo. So yeah, I like this one the most. So
now
what about you, Nate?
When I saw that character, no, that's a freaking good, cool looking character. So so the character, and what's cool is what people don't see is the fact that when we create this artwork, I mean, I used to share it in town halls in the past. I haven't shared it recently, but we haven't stopped making the skins as part of the pipeline because we already have Photoshop open. We have the layers all there. The artist is there. It would take a lot more time to someday say, you know what, we want skins of this. Let's go back. And then we got to open up all these files, find what artist did what, figure out like, no. I mean, the hood's already open on the car. It won't take that much more effort to go ahead and just make the extra skin right there while you're doing it. Most bang for our buck, right? Using the resources at our disposal. Knowing that someday, of course, it's inevitable. Of course, we're going to want to introduce these skins in some way. So it's cool to see all, you know, the things that the players aren't going to be able to see yet, but I'm looking forward for them to see it in the near futures because some of these skins are pretty amazing. But the character that you're talking about, like I remember how cool it looked. I was like, wait a minute, it's a ranged character. We always try to make sure the artwork matches the stats and abilities. That's always been a thing that creative strives for. So I'm looking, I'm like, how is this thing ranged? Oh, she's on a floating rock. She must drop the rock onto people. That's her range attack. And then, no, I look closer. No, there's these little spikes coming out of her wings. So she shoots spikes out of her wings. Is that right, Joey? Okay, he's giving me the thumbs up. So yes. So no, I really dig that artwork. How about I think for me, artwork wise, one of my favorite characters is probably, you know, that Endless Ape. Just the perspective, the way he's drawn, the facial expression on his face, just all of it. It makes me like, wow, if I'm in the jungle and I saw this guy, I'm like hightailing it. I'm climbing up a tree. I'm going somewhere because that guy looks fearsome. But anyways, yeah. How about you, Joey? What is your favorite thing that you would want people to like if they could just see one thing? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be narrative specifically, but I'm assuming it would be. What's the one thing you would want people to see that you worked hard for in the past year? And you'd be like, hey, it would be just an absolute horrible thing if people didn't see this favorite thing of yours. What would it be?
I don't know. So from a narrative perspective, probably my favorite thing is the interconnectedness of all the characters. You don't have your random Crypt Beetles and your Silent Shavis like we had in Chaos Legion. Every single character in this story in Rebellion is part of our story. And as you read it, you'll like you read Recklaw's lore. It talks about Barish Scooter and Averis Deus, and just the way everything interrelated. And if you read the lore holistically, read the whole thing, you can kind of get a sense of what the story is like and where these characters are in the world. And you might start to wonder, hey, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when this rebellion actually kicks off? And we looked at different ways to actually tell the story of the rebellion, whether that is in story mode, where you as the player actually get to play through the rebellion and experience firsthand. Maybe it would be in the skins that we develop, and you'd buy a skin and the lore would change when you have the skin, and it would tell the story of what happened to these characters when they're during the rebellion, who survived, who didn't. And some of these characters will die, and they're honored in cards that you fight with in the arena. I also like the skins, like for example, Commander Goff. His original skin, he's this knight in shining armor. I mean, in the base, he's this knight in shining armor. But when you go to the skin, his armor's dented and he's all bloody and he looks like he's been through hell. So you're like, what happened to this poor dude? And that's all part of it.
Wow.
So I guess from that perspective, that's my favorite. And I also have to say, as I was a player before I joined the team, so I really like the gameplay mechanics. I like the dual elements. I like the tactics, and I'm really looking forward to playing with these cards and kicking some butt or getting my butt kicked.
No, for sure. No, that's awesome, man. And while we're talking, I noticed in YouTube chat they're talking about the Rekla, which I believe is one of the summoners. I think it's a tactic summoner, right? Rekla.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. He's got a plus
Um,
2 health, or I think it's Reflection Shield.
I'm a big Death fan, so I got to say that's also a favorite. In addition to Endless Ape, that guy does look freaking cool. And then I love what you mentioned some earlier in passing, and I want to emphasize it to the community at large that I love your approach that Rebellion is not this thing that happened and now you got to play with the cards. Rebellion is happening right now, and you're part of that experience, part of that story. And initially, with we don't have story mode, but what we do have is conflicts, and you've created conflicts, or you've helped to shape conflicts, mold it into this experience whereby little by little you're experiencing how the rebellion is evolving and the progress of it, and your part in it as a battle mage, if not in story mode yet, then at least as someone who is deploying their manifestations, their cards in these mage wagons off to help the rebellion. At first, not because you're looking to be part of the rebellion, but because you want a few coins in your pocket. But yeah, I love that approach. I love that is part of what we're doing, because I think that's really going to elevate the experience in terms of making the player feel more like a battle mage.
Yeah,
So,
and we definitely want conflicts are going to shape our lore. So what happens in the story of the rebellion is definitely shaped by the conflicts. Have we announced the first card yet? Did we reveal that or not?
for conflicts, yeah, on yesterday's town hall, I didn't share stats, but I did share the name and the art.
Okay, so it's Rage. So Rage is involved in this first conflict. So he plays a part in the story of the rebellion in another place. So this is the first time you get to meet him. And however conflicts turns out, well, that's gonna decide what the next phase of the story is. So your actions here, helping the rebellion with your cards and your mage wagons, well, something is going to come of that. We're going to have another card. And then I think the other cool part is that now that we plan to incorporate the legendary summoners that are designed by the players into the story. So I don't know the whole story of the rebellion yet. I assume there's going to be some kind of squirrel involved. So what part is this squirrel going to play? So it's going to be part of the rebellion, and I'd like to work with all the players who won these legendary summoners to really to shape the history of the Splinterlands and have their summoners play a vital role in how these conflicts progress to the end. And I'm really interested and excited to see how that turns out.
Speaking of squirrels, where did Bulldog place on the leaderboard? Does anyone know? Was it like second place, third place? Like I guess I'm curious as to like what element this squirrel's going to end up. I mean, I feel like a squirrel would be an earth element, right? But I don't know. I guess
I think he's hoping for death, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I could see. Yeah,
because Darth Squirrel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Death. I could see that too. Of course, we can't use the word Darth in our lore. We don't want to get sued, but yeah, we'll try to come up with as close as we can to something cool. That should be fun, actually, I think. And speaking of which, before we head on to Roy's favorite thing, if you've won the a leaderboard spot for customizing a legendary summoner in the Rebellion set, then Roy is not Roy. Joey is typically the one. So our narrative lead is typically the one to kind of like, they're going to be the ones you're going to collaborate with at first. And so as such, if you haven't already, we're going to probably put out the word out like, hey, if you won one of those top 6 spots, please contact Joey. If you want to contact ahead of time, feel free. Basically, what Joey's going to need is your email. We're going to use that email to kind of send you a legal document, get that or out of the way, the legal stuff, and then jump into the creative stuff. So we're probably going to be looking to do that sooner rather than later, because we definitely want to make these things as awesome as possible. And that means starts collaborating as soon as possible. So just if you want a spot, Joey's the guy. Contact him in Discord or otherwise, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah, you can either Discord. I'm Joseph John Fiction. My email is joey@splinterlands.com. And I've got a document, a draft document that I need to finalize. I'll send it to you with the information that we need. And unlike previous times, I think we just chatted in Discord as we designed the legendary summoners. I'd like to probably jump on voice calls so I can explain the story of the rebellion, and we can brainstorm ways of how these characters can fit in. I think it'd also be cool if, all the players that won, we kind of work together and we said, okay, we want to be the bad guys, we want to be the good guys, or maybe everybody wants to be bad guys. I don't know. We'll make it work however we do it. But I'd like to see everything, interconnected and woven into this story together, rather than just random characters like we do sometimes.
Nice. And it looks like YouTube is helping me out. He says they think he came in 4th place. So okay, he has some options there. By the time because you start at the top writing, what's your choice of element? Then you go to the next. Okay, here's the elements that are left. By the time you get down to 4th, all right, he'll have more than one option, obviously. So I think he should be fine. All right. So
and the question is, what? I don't know. We'll have to see if the legendary summoners are potentially going to be multi-element.
Oh well.
Oh yeah.
You know what? That's true. So your Matt's dropping
I thought
potential
things were
alpha,
getting
maybe.
things were getting too easy, for you guys. I don't know yet. We're gonna have to see. It's that's more of a call me Tim decision, but that's a distinct possibility.
Nice. Well, that's crazy. So, yeah, who knows what these summoners will end up doing or be capable of. So, whether or not you're designing them or not, as a player, you're most likely definitely going to want them. And if you're most definitely going to want them, you're going to want to buy some packs, open the packs, put them in Mage Wagon, send them off to go help the rebellion. And then before we run out of time here at this first segment of the party, I want to make sure, Roy, what's your favorite thing? What's the thing that you want players to really look at and know about for Rebellion?
I think just the simple, the gameplay mechanics that they're introducing. I think Splinterlands, the gameplay has been you submit your team, it's an auto battler, it happens. Now we're trying to mix things up by having kind of these real-time choices, which will open up more and more strategic ways of it's not just the final team draft that you submit. You can also change how your strategy works. You might submit something and your player has something, and you can change your strategy kind of midway and change the tide of battle. So earlier, when people used to just submit the team and they just let it see it play out, or be I'm going to lose before they see it, now they can officially kind of counter it. So I think I'm super excited for that, because I think new gameplay elements always keep the game fresh. And I think also the cards that have been designed have also been pretty good, and they've been pretty damn fun to play. So I'm really excited for players to try out these new gameplay mechanics, and I'm also excited for them to then try out the new gameplay screens and the new battle mage stuff that we would put out. And those are the main two things that I'm super excited about.
Nice. And is there anything specifically that did you find anything particularly easy or challenging in designing some of that stuff?
I think the tough part, I think the easy part about was that how would the gameplay flow, in the sense that the easy part of it was that, okay, I thought that earlier having a mix of two gameplay features of having a real-time strategy and then having turn-based, having auto battle mechanics would not blend that well. But then playing through it, it kind of caught on to me. I think it's a good hybrid system. It works out pretty well. And that was the thing that I thought was an easy transition, because usually when you mix two genres together, it takes a while to figure out. It takes a lot of tweaking and testing. I think the tough part that I did not think even occurred to me was cataloging the cards. How would the cards be cataloged? What will be dual element summons? And I think the meta balancing and stuff like that would also be another thing that I think Tim would have to do a lot. So just having these cards opens up so many a Pandora's box of opportunities, but then they also have a lot of balancing things that we would have to do on our end. And I'm thinking we're doing a pretty good job for now.
And that's something you're just related and unrelated at the same time. You're working on that right now, is the sorting and filtering for the team build screen, which isn't making it into the Rebellion launch, but it's something that for, if nothing else, Wild players, of which I am one. I just play in Wild. That I'm emotionally attached to my cards. I have a hard time not playing with my Lord of Darkness or my Skeletal Assassin. Like the idea of playing in Modern and not playing with those cards makes me sad. So I play in Wild, and so, but I will say, introducing dual element summoners, yeah, that's a lot to scroll through, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger if we don't do something about it. And so I challenged you with sorting and filtering to kind of like address some of those things. And so I've seen some of the layouts. I'm pretty excited. You have a lot of really great ideas on how to tackle that. And I think the players, once we get a chance to introduce it into the game, some of the stuff you're working on right now, I think that they're going to really be happy with the outcome. Okay. And so, I guess I'm going to end it with you, Matt. What's the favorite thing that you have that you're looking forward to for Rebellion?
I mean, as much as I love kind of all the things that everyone's talked about and that's a part of it, I definitely got to go to the tactics as my favorite thing. And as a player that I'm most excited about. I spent some, I don't spend a lot of time playing tournaments or watching the streams as much as I would like, but I always thought that was so fun when there was a stream of a tournament and you look at the battles and everyone's kind of like, on the stream, you're trying to play out the battle before you actually click play and say like, oh, they got a magic team and they put in Void there, so they're probably gonna, this guy's gonna die and whatever. And that's exactly what tactics is. It's that putting that as part of the actual game. So you see that the battle before you click play, and you gotta kind of figure out what's going on and then make those selections. So that's the thing I guess I'd say I'm most excited about. And overall, I got to go in a couple minutes, as we transition over to the next phase of the broadcast. But I just wanted to say this whole thing kind of brings me back to like my EverQuest days in like 1999 and 2000, because I distinctly remember that one of the most fun times was when the servers were down, which was a lot back in those days, and everyone was hanging out in the chat rooms and whatever. And so this kind of brings me back to that. It's like everyone's just the game's down, no one's playing, so everyone's kind of here talking about it, and we're hearing from a lot of different team members, a lot of different perspectives. I just think that's super cool. So I appreciate everyone who's been on and all the streamers and content producers that are going to be coming on to take the next part of the stream. And it sounds like from the tech updates that things are going pretty well with the release. And hopefully it should be up and ready for everyone pretty soon. So I just want to say thanks again to everyone here and to the community. It's time for the Rebellion to begin.
Yeah. All right. So no, that's awesome, and I love the EverQuest reference because my wife and I played EverQuest, had our headsets on, doing raids. It was awesome. All right. So I guess. Yeah, we're at that moment. What happens next, Ron?
One time, if I don't know, maybe if the community puts together some type of campaign, I will reveal my EverQuest character, which is, I will say, hilarious.
Nice.
So that could be something to look forward to.
Yeah. No one can hear you, Ron. So you're just listening. We look like crazy people talking to nobody.
Who are you talking to, Nate?
Yeah.
Maybe Ron doesn't really exist. I don't know.
All right, there we go.
All right, I'm gonna hop off though, so you can cut my picture. But
it'll do that automatically.
Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. See you on the flip side of the release, everybody.
We got a fancy setup tonight. So guys, we're bringing on the content creators here. We're trying to get a tournament set up. I'm doing a little bit of troubleshooting in the background. We're going to do a live Ghost Card Rebellion tournament here on stream. And so if you guys can just introduce yourself. Let's just start as you appear on the screen. We got Kraken Jr., we got Infidel, we got Silence, we got Aftersound, Rogue Patton, Sinister, and Buns. So if you guys can in that order, kind of just introduce yourself, tell us what you do, where you create, what kind of content you do, and where people can find you.
Well, hello. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Splinterlands, for this great game. My name is Kraken JR. Maybe most of you here in the Splinterlands community know me from Splinterlands TV. I do stream some other stuff when I can on Twitch. It's been a little hectic lately, but waiting for Rebellion. Happy to be here with all the family. It's like a family reunion, just like someone was chatting before. And I stream from Panama, so that's why the accent. My main language is Spanish. So good to be here, and on to the next.
I think I was number 2. Hey guys, Infidel 1258. I'm super pumped to be here. Love Splinterlands. I saw a post from Agrod in Discord today. He said, "Everybody, this is a big day for Rebellion launch. Share on your socials like why you love Splinterlands." To me, it's always the same thing that I want to communicate even right now. It's fun and rewarding. That's revolutionary. That combination is unique, special. I love this. I love talking about it. Love being here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, you guys, it is I, the Psy. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to join this Rebellion pre-release. I'm ready to go 0-X in the tournament. And yeah, I'm excited to see some of the new interactions. And hopefully you guys don't have to hear my screaming kids for too long. Excited to be here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Aftersound. I'm a content creator as well as help out the creative team from time to time doing some music. I've been waiting for Rebellion for 2 years, and so the day is finally here. I cannot wait. Thanks for having me.
What's going on? I'm Rogue Patton. Aftersound, are you going to adopt the Bard of Praetoria? Can that be your official title? Like that's what I want to hear.
I would say on the creative side,
it could be unofficially
that's
official.
what he's known as.
Good.
The Bard.
Good. It flows. But yeah, I'm Rogue Patton. I was part of the Splinterlands TV team for 2 years. Stream on Twitch, occasionally post some stuff on Hive. But yeah, recently father of 4 now. Just had my twins very recently, so they've consumed my time entirely. But it is awesome to be here. I've been waiting for Rebellion forever. I mean, I'm Generation Chaos, so I feel like everyone Generation Chaos is ready for the rotation. Let's go, baby.
Hello, crypto boys and ghouls. Tales from the Cryptmancer here, aka Sinister. Really happy to be part of this stream and this family. This is really, I think, piggybacking on what Dwayne had said earlier. This is the next evolution here of Web3 gaming, and this community is what it's all about. So really happy to be here with these content creators and everyone in the audience on the unveiling of Rebellion here today.
So, Cryptmancer, I noticed you have no skin. How did that happen?
Man, it's a lot of battles against some of these competitors here.
Yeah,
takes a toll on you, Nate.
That'll do it.
Bear markets, man.
All right, I'm Buns. For those of you that don't know me, started Splinterlands like maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years. Started streaming it through Splinterlands TV and fell absolutely in love with it. Stream it all the time on Twitch. So if you see a tournament in the events tab, check it out. I'm always streaming my tournaments. Other than that, I just want to preface this with don't make fun of how bad I do in this tournament because I'm going to do terrible. But I am excited. So let's do it.
Oh, and Walking Keys. Can we get your introduction and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you, Ron Don. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I am Walking Keys from SHQ NFT Gaming and Collectibles. Very happy to be here. I've been in Splinterlands since 2019, I think, and very excited for this set. So thanks for having me.
And I just want to say, hey, this Rebellion launch party, this was, Walking Keys approached me with the idea. We're all here because of this man thinking like, hey, we should do this. And I thought, you know what? That's a good idea. We should do that. And so it's amazing. Like as I see all of you on an official Splinterlands stream, I see all the boxes. I see, your guys' passion. I see that you guys have followers, and there's a reason for that. People enjoy your content because you're informative, you're honest, you're authentic. And you're out there, doing the good work, right? Big hats off. I appreciate all of you for being here. So yeah, what's on the agenda, Ron? What happens next?
Well, we're trying to get this tournament set up. I'm working with Aftersound in the background, doing some debugging. So, kind of need to stall for time for a little bit and talk a
I
little
have
bit
a
more.
I have a
Um,
comment I wanted to make there, Nate, about you just expressing appreciation to us and to the content creators who love the game. I know that every single one of us that participated in and shared some of the Rebellion art content is like so appreciative to the team to just invite us in, and even in things like this, we love this. Like Splinterfest was awesome. I can like look around and see smiles in these guys' faces like that are here. Like we just like this is amazing that you guys invite us into stuff like this. Is part of why we love it too, right? It's like that's the closeness of our community of this game. You see it in all the different chats. I'm watching on YouTube. I'm watching on Discord. The fun that they're having with this, like we're in a bear market still, I guess, right? Like SPS used to be a lot higher. 3 cents is great, but we're not. There's no Lambos in the immediate future, but like we love it that much. The community is that excited because of that closeness that you guys invite us in. Thank you so much, man.
No, I mean, geez, it's kind of like when after recent cutbacks, it was like, okay, what are we going to do with marketing? What are we going to do with how do we make sure that that things keep moving forward? And my first thought was, let's not worry about that, which seems weird. Like, I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, I think what I need to be worried about is how can I help you guys become successful? And it's not just you guys on the call. It's like, everyone out there who wants to be a product evangelist for Splinterlands. How can we, the company, and this is something that Walking Keys brought up to me before as well, is like, how can the company support you guys? Because essentially you guys are out there, on the front lines. If we can support you guys, if we can make you guys successful, then our success will just happen organically. We don't have to worry about, I don't worry about right now the metrics and conversion rates and click through and all the other stuff. I mean, that can wait a little bit. We'll work on the new player experience. We'll be ready when the time comes, and we'll figure that stuff out. But in the meantime, my big request from not just you guys but the entire community, all our players, is not. I don't want to hear how you guys can help me. I want to know how can I help you guys. I mean, really, you guys are the ones to be celebrated in not just today, but just every day, every single day. You guys are putting out content and helping the players, taking them by the hands and say, hey, look, are you new? Let me help you get started. Or, hey, are you a veteran, but you're having struggles or frustrations here? Let me help you with that too. You're guiding and advising, and you're doing that all on your own. We're not paying you money, and so crap dang. I mean, that's got big respect. Thank you so much, and hopefully through the War Room Discord channel and in other ways, I can figure out ways, or all creative, the team members on this call even are ready and waiting to help you guys with whatever it is you guys need. You guys need some artwork you don't have access to? Bam, let's get it up on the cloud. You guys need some music or sound effects that are Splinterlands, blah, blah. Yeah, let's do it. Animation, sure, let's do it. You need to get a better insight into the lore and the world building and the stuff so that you can, better do what you guys got to do. Bam, Joey's right there. He's ready and waiting. So I just want to make it clear that we are, we're in full support. We are 100%, 200% ready to support you guys any way that we can. And speaking of which, I mean, since we're all in one room together, do any of you guys have thoughts on any ideas that you've been contemplating on how we can further up the ante, further raise the bar for getting the word out? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'll jump in real quick. I have one idea. I would like, how radio stations do a contest, and those contests are basically promoted over hundreds of radio stations, but there's only one big source of the prize or the winner. To do a streamer contest where everybody contributes and tries to get people to engage in this contest, and the prizes are just distributed from Splinterlands itself. So the streamers aren't coming out of pocket for prizes, but we promote towards one group contest. So all the channels, all of us can go out and promote, try to get new people to sign up and engage by giving them a chance to win a pretty nice prize.
Interesting. So, and it's funny you should mention, and if any of you guys have reached out to me, and I haven't been responsive, I apologize. I've just been juggling so many things with Rebellion launch and everything. But some of those DMs involved like, hey, I'm a streamer, or I'm running a contest. Does the company have any extra packs or something they could donate to the cause? And so I'm like, I don't know, do I? So in fact, I just poked Matt like yesterday or the day before. I was like, Matt, where can I get access to this stuff? And are there any rules involved in utilizing those for events or promotions or for streamers or for this or for that? And he seemed very open to the idea, and is willing to kind of like figure out the rules as we go along, as long as it's reasonable and fair and equitable, and we're not playing favorites, or no one, you know what I mean, all the obvious stuff. So I don't think that idea is out of the question. Not only is it not out of the question, I definitely would like to see more of that kind of thing. And what's great is just like we released the cards through influencers and content creators. Why not do the same thing with the community and the streamers, or what about the DAO? I mean, what's unique about this situation, what's crazy to me, is that a typical gamer who went to Best Buy or to GameStop or whatever, paid their $60, got the game, installed it, and they just played a game. They're like, they're completely missing out on what's happening over here, possibly. Like, I mean, this is truly revolutionary. The fact that we are all coming together as whether streamers or team members or players, just community members, as and we're all collaborating in a way that up until until now in the blockchain industry and Web3 gaming and all that stuff has been like has that ever happened before? Like what we're doing is not just talking about collaborating with the gameplay and getting the Mavs feedback and working together as one, but all the Clayboy and the DAO proposals and working together to kind of make the economy better, or the economics aspect or the gameplay parts better. We're all voting and making our opinion heard, and we're reshaping, we're sculpting what this game is going to become. And now we're in a call, live streaming, talking about just overall marketing and how to get the word out. We're doing that together as shareholders, as SPS holders, but also as influencers and as just players, people who love and are passionate about the game. That's pretty freaking cool when you think about it. So I'm wondering, like, okay, yeah, this is a great idea, Walking Keats, love it, but I also love the format in which we're coming up with it. And anyone else have ideas? I mean, I'd love any ideas that are spitballed today to actually morph into something. If not a DAO proposal, then something we collaborate on behind the scenes and figure out, between you guys and the company.
I have something that I've been talking about for a while, and I know I talked with like Rondon about it in the past and things like that. I think giving certain people maybe like one day a month to do a ghost tournament, or even Splinterlands themselves offering a ghost tournament to players that haven't played the game yet, so they can come in, they can use all the cards, see all the abilities, and have a chance, possibly if you get first in that ghost tournament for only new players, or just newish players, they can win a spell book or a couple packs of cards or something like that. I think ghost tournaments really could change the whole like dynamic for streamers as a whole, or content creators for Splinterlands. And I know that's not easy for you guys to do. As I said, I've asked before about it a couple times, but I think if there is any way to implement that, even if it's not for new players or maybe just for new players, I think that would really get the ball rolling on something bigger, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that is easier than the whole new player experience and tutorials and all the other things that would be more involved. So I would say, as far as solutions go, it's more low hanging than a lot of other things, right? And then if we were to intertwine, I don't know if there's a way to intertwine that idea with Walking Keys' idea of the big event and the prize and all that stuff. But I would say, yeah, I mean, that's what we're about to do now, right? So it's not impossible. We're about to, like Rondon was able to facilitate some sort of, tournament whereby you guys get access to all the cards that are not in your collection, but once you start the event, right? That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, the event is started, and I'm actually looking at all the new cards on my screen right now. So trying to pick my first team. That's awesome.
All right, guys. So the tournament is starting, and we do have we didn't get After Sound in, unfortunately, but you know what? He did such a great job of commentary on the tournaments. At the live tournaments, our first and only live tournament in Vegas, that I think that we'll just bring him back for that. Right?
Sounds good.
I was in the internal testing, After Sound was mopping the floor with me. He was my nemesis, and we still got a bone to pick with you on that. But and also, I was going to let you guys know, any of the team that's here, if you need to drop out, if you got other stuff to do, if you got to create or whatever you need to do, you can drop out at your leisure. We thank you very much for having you here. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for building the stuff that we have that we're going to be releasing today. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Ron. I'm going to drop off. I just want to say thanks for the rest of the team for an awesome Rebellion. Thanks to the community for being awesome and making me want to wake up every day and build awesome stuff for you. So I'll see y'all in the arena.
Same guys. Thank you all. You're the best.
Yeah, can't wait to see who wins.
So we've got. Oh, did Nate drop off too? Oh, he's just leaving us here, huh? We're getting a little bit of background noise from somebody with kids. Thank you. The Psy guy over here. But yeah, we have a tournament coming up. Are you guys already submitting your battles? Let me get this.
Submitting battles away, Ron. Yep. And I wanted to answer his question a little bit too. But I'll be quiet if we want to organize this, Nate. Ron.
Oh, go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nate was asking about just ideas around advertising and spreading the word and making it, and just talking about the decentralized nature of how we approach that, and even how this game offers a decentralized approach to ownership. It's really one of the things I think, and it's maybe controversial, and I'd love to hear the thoughts of the people in this room. It's like, I'm concerned for our game that the advertising efforts fall on deaf ears because they don't understand the thing that I think we get, which is the revolutionary nature, the importance of receiving actual physical reward for your time and attention. That cryptocurrency is a physical reward that can be extracted, can be realized. It's not just a superficial skin that means nothing. It has a monetary value in the world, and therefore the cards have a real utility. It's not just like an NFT that you can look at. It has a functionality and therefore a utility, a usefulness. I don't know that. I think the hurdle that I'm saying we're facing is the ability to get people past recognizing this, past that recognition of the revolutionary nature of that. And I actually worry that there isn't a process for us to walk them down that road. They have to either realize it for themselves, and that usually I think happens in the bull market when things go crazy, and then they come in because they see really crazy green candles. So I'm saying, I wonder if we have to wait really on bull cycles to grab eyes, and then there'll be a growth of actual players that want to stay. My concern for that is, if that's true, we see a bunch of people come in like they did with Chaos Legion, and Rogue and some others here can really speak to that. You come in when things are going crazy, and then you do usually see a downside afterwards. That's how cryptocurrency works. So there's this rush, and there'll be people buying tops. People bought Bitcoin at 65,000, and sure, it's doing great, but I mean, it's not not 65,000. And so do we have to wait on those cycles? Can we overcome that? Can we actually invite people in a moment like this? I think it's growing, but really that's a product of SPS. That's my thought. Like, we need to see SPS go. That'll draw attention. That'll draw flywheel. That'll draw gains, and that'll draw a player base. I think that's the real secret sauce. And of course, decentralized conversations, social posts, all of us pouring into that. But I wonder if the issue is more the price appreciation. I love to hear your guys' thoughts.
So I got a first round bye here. So it looks like my prophecy of getting 0 wins didn't come true. But I just want to tag on to that and say that actually, I think part of what our marketing should end up being to is towards the TCG crowd. I mean, I came from Magic the Gathering. I know there's a lot of Splinterlands players who also came from Magic the Gathering. And I think that if we were to reach out and not just market solely towards other cryptocurrency games, we were going to market it as an actual TCG, which is what this actually is, that we'd actually be able to capture a lot more audience share as well. So just kind of opening up and expanding that, maybe advertising in some of the same routes that, say, Magic the Gathering would do, or some of the other newer games like Flesh and Blood or Lorcana, along those kind of advertising method streams might also work out for us.
You know, I do think we're also missing a huge number of people, and that's people that have already played the game, that have accounts, that we just need to get them back involved. And I think Rebellion and LAN being launched, those are 2 huge steps to make that happen.
And also just kind of further that when we bring new people in, again, or perhaps existing users that might have been away for a while, I'd like to direct you all towards one of the proposals, since we were talking about the DAO earlier, about following up on one of Weirdbeard's ideas, which was in regards to like a league lock. Because I think that being able to possibly select your league might bring a lot of those players back. Because right now, if they were to restart, they'd be starting off in bronze again, and they may have gold or diamond level collections, but then have to get through bronze, get through silver to make it back up to where their collection actually is. And perhaps introducing something like a league lock, like Weirdbeard originally proposed, and I've got my own ideas on it that right now you can talk about in Discord, that might also help bring some of those people back, because they'll know that they won't have to go through the slog of bronze, you know, before actually getting back up to gold or diamond or even champ, where they might like actually want to play.
Yeah, I saw a comment here in the chat about, is this the marketing department earlier? And, you know, that's one of the things that people need to start understanding is the community is going to be the marketing. The community is going to be who needs to spread the word. You need to get out there on Twitter, talk about SPS mooning, go out there on Facebook and do whatever happens on Facebook. I'm not quite sure. You know, get on YouTube, get on TikTok. You know, I got to say, TikTok, I've never used it, but a lot of people do. And, you know, there's just all of this going on. And, we're like you and me, everybody here, everybody listening to this right now, we are the marketing department. We've got a lot of stuff, like what to Dwayne's point, there's a lot of education that needs to be done. I've seen videos of people going up to random people in the street saying, hey, here's $100 in cash, or would you rather have 1 Bitcoin? And they're like, oh, I'd rather take the $100 in cash. And they're like, okay, well, you know, Bitcoin's worth like $40,000, right? Well, no, that's fake. It's fake. And I think it's a scam. And, you know, like, and people just dismiss it. I've seen the same thing with the, you know, silver or gold and money. Like people do these, like, they don't understand the value of this stuff. And it takes education to really convey that message. But yeah, the education's got to start with you guys. It's got to start with our community, because quite honestly, hearing it from a corporation anyway is going to fall on deaf ears. If it's a corporate ad, people are going to be like, that's a scam. But if they're hearing it from some person they know, or some person that you know, is in their friend's circle or network, they're gonna take it to heart a little bit more. You know, there's a way better chance of them taking over. But anyway, we have a tournament going right now, guys. And have you guys been able to submit your teams? I heard there might be some bugs.
Just to kind of prelude, I think what's happening here is I think there's something specifically with the programming of the open tournament where maybe it's not recognizing the new mechanics. Because like Infidel and I we did our match but we both picked. I picked a tactic summoner, and I didn't get to use the tactic phase, so I ended up picking like a 5-mana summoner that did nothing. And then he was in the duel, but it took it like
Now you
or no,
can.
you were, but it took like 4 minutes to load that match, and I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I think that's the bug that's happening. Is I think specifically
amazing.
the open tournament.
So let's do this. We got.
Oh, hold on.
the first-
We
Oh,
got
okay, go
Rogue
ahead.
talking. I don't know. Can you not hear Rogue?
I can't hear Rogue. So
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
No, I can hear you fine.
We can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, Rogue.
It doesn't seem that
Can
after sound.
anybody else
After
hear
sound, could you do a refresh and
I will
maybe?
be right back.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Kraken, if you want to win, don't pick a tactic summoner.
You won
Okay,
anyways,
so-
buddy.
Yeah,
So are
unfortunately,
you-
I just chose a tactic summer. It didn't even let me. After clicking battle, it didn't let me get to the screen.
I-
either, unfortunately,
I did, but also Sinister did, so we both fell for it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, what I was going to do is give you guys all the cards and just do this like a regular old school. And then I couldn't combine the cards on the using the tools. It was just freezing and rejecting it, and there was way too many cards. I mean, I was opening up like 30,000 packs, so I could give everybody a full deck.
I mean, you can still, you know, after the stream, you know, if you want to throw it to our personal accounts instead of Mav, you know, you're more than welcome to.
I mean, they only exist on Mavs, so yeah. But yeah, anyway. So, but we found out we can do the ghost card tournaments and got that all figured out. And apparently, the ghost card tournaments have not been tested with the new tactics. So I'm actually not quite sure. I mean, we can watch this. So you guys were able to use a tactic summoner here, Rogue.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Like, did this
Well,
actually
we
end
weren't
up
able to
working?
pick anything, sadly.
Oh, you weren't able to pick the tactic that you wanted to use.
Yeah, there was like no phase 1, so I'm actually really curious. I'm picking a team right now, and I'm curious if it's even going to let me ambush. I'm going to pick an ambush just to see.
Ambush
if I
did
can.
work against me. I went up an ambush and it
Oh,
worked
so
against
you
me.
did? Okay.
I'd like to chime in here and say that I think Rogue is quiet bragging because he beat me anyways, and he's like, "Oh, and I didn't get my summoner buff, by the way."
No comment.
All right. Well, looks like it looks like you used everybody. The Jared Scar was definitely a popular choice here with the attack anywhere.
Yeah, Jared Scar is still like in a melee attacks from anywhere or in any of those situations when you get down into especially like this lower mana, like Jared Scar is still amazing. Pair it with Marty or
Beast
something
mode.
along those lines to give it like a couple procs before it actually gets a kill. It helps because that's the thing with Bloodlust is you need that momentum. And so Marty helps with the momentum. So in this case, I was trying to use the tactic summoner in a way of like just I knew I wanted to be white. And there wasn't really anything specific with the other summoners that I felt like I was going to get an advantage out of. So I was going to use the speed to hopefully I was anticipating a mirror, and I was going to use the speed to hopefully get my Scar higher than their Scar was generally the concept that I was going for. Or if it wasn't a mirror, then be able to kind of use that tank heal to maybe sustain self heal to maybe sustain one of my other cards later. That was the concept of that match.
What were you gonna do with your summoner tactics if it had allowed?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would have done either speed buff if it was a mirror, or I would have used a heal depending on like what I saw, and that's what I mean. I can't really say. So in your case, looking at yours, I would have probably done I'd have probably done the speed. I'd have sped up Jared Scar and the little mousy mouse, I think.
I was
Or maybe I'd have
my-
sped up the gargoyle.
My play didn't work out, but C-Rec is just too much mana for like I should have like you got your tank was quite resilient with the big armor with the big hit points. She dodged a couple times. Also is like a lot less mana. And I could have put something in the back line. I think I needed to think through because I knew Jared Scar was powerful. I knew that it was probably going to be put. So I should have thought through like shield and like more resiliency as resistance to physical damage would have been wise, but I didn't go that way.
I just want to say I love that nickname for that card. Little Mousy Mouse is now that card for me.
Dude, I've been playing trading card games for so long. I never call them by their real names. It's some descriptive nature of just that everybody knows. It's like, yeah, Lily Shield Paw. No, it's Red Panda. Pick the panda. But yeah, as these old like Ninja Turtle, the new reward card. I have no idea what the Ninja Turtle's name is. I just know that's a Ninja Turtle.
He looks like a Ninja Turtle. Yeah.
You talking about the turtle? With the horns?
The turtle that does repair and has the in blue that has the
thorns.
The
range
water
attack.
guy.
No, it's got the range attack.
Oh, okay.
Man, you guys got me talking, and Kraken's over here like just beating the crap out of me.
I am surprised that I'm doing.
Keep talking, Rob.
So are you guys able to do? I mean, we're just the tactics aren't really working, but everything else is going fine.
Yeah,
we're doing.
All right. Well, I'm way behind here. Was there only one match for the first round? Oh, that's a
It was a qualifier. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to buy.
You got to buy.
I can't believe I even made it to.
All right. Well, let's watch this. Let's watch this second round here with the Sinister versus Kraken. What do you think? What do you think about this After Sound? We've got two of the same summoners, but I bet you the lineups are going to be varied a little bit. This is what I was thinking. I was thinking about the Great Porcupine, not a turtle, earlier. But anyway, this one right here looks pretty interesting.
I'm a big fan of that life summoner. I think the heal is going to be a huge part of the meta moving forward.
And the speed as well too. If you pick that instead of it, depending on the rule set, speed is huge in this game. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm seeing a lot of the new Rebellion cards being used. Are you guys like forcing them to play, or is this something that you're choosing because you want to win?
We're exploring. And it's the same thing. They're synonyms.
Both. Exactly. When you get a new toy, you want to use it. Sometimes you overuse it, but there are some interesting tools in here. And I'm especially, as always, interested in summoners. I think summoners open up so much gameplay. I know that the new tactics do. I know that the new cards do, but summoners are like the gateway to new strategies, I believe. So I want to try those, especially the new summoners.
I have a question. I know that the summoners that with the tactics and the two options is it's gonna be so case by case and situation by situation and in terms of how you use them and when you use them. But I just looking at them, I do feel like Avina the Wolf is probably the best of the summoner tactics. Again, contextually, I get that it's not always gonna work, but just because speed is so important, and I can really envision a lot of scenarios where you might play like a big speedy tank. I'm thinking like, well, hang on, Almo Cambio, I think is Untamed. Well, you might put a phase like fast monster, and then you could theoretically utilize the speed if it makes a lot of sense. But then having that heal in your pocket, wow, that's just really. Do you guys have thoughts on whether one stands out as from those summoners in particular?
Yeah, I think Avina is, from my perspective, probably the most powerful summoner tactics other than a Kane, the dragon summoner with the double ambush option. I mean, for this particular battle, I was trying to take advantage because it was a 17 mana match. I didn't think Affliction would be here. So I was trying to use the double heal on Chaos Agent to allow my team to work. And the summoner tactics didn't work, so wasn't able to pull that. And it probably wouldn't have made a difference anyways. But yeah, I mean, she's certainly powerful because her summoner tactic abilities are the speed gives you that first strike option for certain units that you need to get off, kind of like a mini ambush almost, because it's selective. And then, if you don't need the speed, if you're outspeeding your opponent, then you can use that heal strategically. So I think she's very powerful.
Yeah, she's always useful.
Yeah, that's the key to any of these summoners is like, can you effectively use both in any situation? Like, can you look at a situation and be like, oh man, I didn't need either one of these, I picked wrong. Like, that's where, like, I'm looking at red. I think red is one of those situations where you've got a neg in magic, and you've got a dispel. But if your opponent's not really running too much magic and they're not going heavy in bloodlust or doing anything that you really want to dispel, that's a bogus summoner, and that's very dependent on your opponent's choices. So it's less about what you choose when you're choosing that red
Yeah.
summoner. And so, you know, I'm looking at that one for like wands out, you know, type of rule sets where I'm like, all right, or, you know, if it's a, you're able to use gladiator cards, that type of rule set. Like if I think somebody's going to try, but I'm really anticipating my opponent's plays when I'm using that, where, you know, looking at everybody else, really, you've got options both ways. Rosa doing the range and the shield. I think those are both very strategic. Looking at green, which is one that I haven't done enough. The Fabiano, the ability to poison something intentional out the gate is huge. It's not, when I first read that ability, I thought I was giving one of my guys poison, but no, like poisoning something on turn one, 100%, huge, right? But then you're also in green where like sometimes you can actually go with a melee play like a Katrebla. Like I'm looking at Katrebla as the, you know, one of the big benefits from a +2 melee if you're running low mana with those gladiator cards, you know. So, you know, these are the things. But when I look at these, it's for sure that dragon summoner, I think, is probably going to be the biggest threat. 100%.
Yeah, that one is shaded out on my end. Like I'm logged into maps, and I'm not sure that was playable by me in our tournament there. And I assume it's like, I think double ambush is wild. That's potentially a bridge too far, maybe.
Well, and
Yeah,
then there's
Rogue,
also the aspect of the lookout, right? And the
Sure.
lookout is, and that's where, like, oftentimes, sometimes, like Kitty, when I was looking at Kitty, one of the biggest problems with Kitty was it was the threat and the answer, right? It gave the +2 speed and it gave the true strike. So oftentimes it was Kitty v Kitty is like really the only option that you ended up going for, because you needed that true strike to overcome anybody else playing Kitty. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going to be watching this very intentionally, because ambush and lookout counter each other, and they're on this card. So if ambush sets itself apart as like one of the optimal plays to make in the meta, then we've got another situation where this summoner is the threat and the answer,
Yep.
which will limit the overall meta if ambush is too powerful. And so that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for here in the first couple weeks is what can we really break with ambush, and, you know, how is that going to look?
Well, speaking of ambush,
recently,
speaking of ambush, though, we've got this thing. I'm getting a little bit behind on the tournament. You guys are going way ahead of me. I'm trying to show these games. We had an ambush that came right away. Walking Keys was smart to use, +2 speed and piercing with his Yasik, and the Gobelino Soldier nailed the Tinyi Striker. I don't know how to say that. I don't have Joey here. But anyway, it was a pretty good hit right off the bat to start this off. And yeah, so it looks like you used a tactic summoner and that Buns. I guess that probably didn't work. So
it didn't. That's all right. I didn't even really notice. I put my lineup in it like last second, so I kind of like threw that card in at the wrong spot, which made me lose in the end. But yeah, I didn't even notice. But yeah, it didn't work. Still awesome though. I'm just loving this. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just so cool.
You know, the interesting thing about Lookout is that up until recently, I was not really aware personally that it was also an ambush antidote. Not complete antidote, but the halving of the damage from ambush from Lookout. I was only aware, you know, somehow I misread or only read a part of the description a couple of weeks ago that was like lowering the damage for the adjacent units, but that anti-ambush thing makes Lookout a very desirable ability. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, he stunned his emulation, and I think emulation is going to be done for here with all that magic attack on him. And look at this tank, man. what a magic card tank. Was the health pretty low on this, or is that how it comes?
It's got immolation. Which one are you looking at?
This Nalara Ginnick. You guys can see the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what the norm. This is an equalizer rule set, which means that everybody starts with the same. But I'm not quite sure what is his base 10.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you hover over it, it shows you the original context. Look at the Chaos Agent. Yeah, C4. So
Oh
10
yeah.
is- yeah,
It is 10. Okay.
So 10
That's
is-
what
yeah.
that's what I was wondering. But yeah, what a beast with the stun, with the void, with the silence and
Yeah.
the amplify. I mean, it is just that's going to be an
Yeah.
actual magic tank.
And that artwork is sick too. Plus the amp in there, man. Amp is. I found there's so many contexts now with amp because you get the context where the rule set gives you Thorn or Magic Reflect or Archery Reflect. So then having an amp that doesn't just disappear with because a lot of amps are like lower hit points and they may get opt out, but that's a big beast that's going to stick around.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're coming up to the semifinal round. I know you guys are already almost done with this. We can start with Rogue and Kraken because they've already played all 3 of their matches, it looks like.
Sadly, I think we only the first match is actually going to be anything. I didn't get a team in time on the second, and so it resolved itself. But yeah, there's something on the first one.
Thank you,
Okay.
Rob.
Rogue just threw it, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or you get distracted by Discord. You're talking away on Discord, and then you're like, "Uh-oh, I guess I forgot to enter my team."
All right, so this one. Oh, this is a little league set. This is a little league, and we got a 10 mana monster up front. Holy cow! All right, not a 10 mana, but a 10 health.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty crazy. All right. So we got a close range, little league, and enraged, and it looks like you guys both used a smattering of both Chaos Legion and Rebellion here. Rogue, you. Oh nope. There you go. I hear you.
I could hear the entire time, Rogue. So maybe it's just a stream thing.
Say something
But,
again.
Yeah.
Wow. Even
Vanak.
okay, so that audio source wasn't picking you up for some reason, but this one is. All right. Well.
Oh
Perfect.
man, Rogue just gave all the secrets.
Yeah.
In the meta behind Rebellion.
It happened. It happened.
That's
You
for
missed it.
everybody who missed
But no,
it.
I
Yeah.
think this is actually going to be one of the a lot of Generation Chaos, or at least I'll speak for myself and a lot of others. We didn't have a lot of the Untamed cards, so when you get into rule sets like this, where we have Little League, oftentimes it comes down to collection size that really steps out into situations like this because you need a powerful group of cards 4 mana or less. Chaos didn't provide a fully powerful 4 mana or less squad, right? So this is where after rotation, I'm very much looking forward to no longer dreading these matches because I didn't own a failed summoner, like a classic Little League meta card that I'm not going to spend, $1 a day to rent or whatever. So now that we're getting to this new rotation, looking at these cards, there's quite a few lower mana cards, like specifically that tank I chose. It's got great HP for a 4 mana card. Absolutely great. Doesn't do much anything else, but it's got good HP. But specifically, one of the notes that I wanted to make on Rebellion is no 1 mana cards, maybe 1 or 2. No 0 mana, not a lot of 1 mana cards, if any, if I do a quick filter. So there is a lot of, rotation that'll go out with Untamed that didn't come in with Rebellion. And so that'll be really interesting because those 1 mana cards are very essential. So that'll be where Chaos kind of has a leg up still on Rebellion. and why it'll still be essential in this meta.
Good point. I didn't even think of that.
What about your Rogue earlier? You said that you were talking about how the ambush summoner with the outlook. You might need to mirror that to stay competitive. I've heard people comment on my channel saying things like some of these cards are going to be must have, and that makes it like unaffordable for new players. Now, I don't agree with that, but I do think there's a conversation to be had. If certain cards are absolutely must have, then maybe the deck is must have. Maybe these some people are complaining about these 3 mana, the dual commons. They say it's too low. They want 4 mana. I think the implication for that conversation is really there is a lot of power here, and this is now necessary. Again, I don't agree, but what do you guys think? Do you agree with should it be 4 mana for those duels? Are there some cards in here? Maybe that Dragon Summoner, maybe 10 hit points for 4 mana seems pretty high for that tank on the screen there.
Yeah, there were a couple of big health cards in there, and that was made possible by Rebellion, definitely. On that match, you see a 10 mana card, but you also see not 10 mana, 10 health card, but there was also an 8 health card on my deck. So it gives you options.
Absolutely. So we're looking at this, the ambush right away, his dry bone Bodog.
Yeah.
Nailed your Stitch Leech right off the bat. That was
very hard.
That was an impressive hit there. Wow. Yeah, with this enrage though, I'm not quite sure because we got a sneak here that's going to get smacked. Yeah. Well, is it going to hit this guy though? Oh, he did. He did because he got hit first by the Celestial Harpy. Although it was a good play to put the Celestial Harpy in there with that True Strike and this enraged rule set. I don't know. Looks like Rogue is going to be taking it down, but we're not done yet. We got Heal up front, and then we got this guy scavenging, and then we got the Forester running cover in the back.
I think it's really cool. That card there, six speed, 6 health, but no attack there on Rogue's team. It has Inspire, Backfire, but Blast, which is really cool. Going with weapons training moving forward on how the new weapons training is going to be. Her with Ziriel is going to be, I mean, I have a gold one, so I think hers is 4, but I think one BCX is 3 hit power. So giving her 3 hit power right off the bat with Blast with 6 speed is insane, in my opinion. That's just crazy. The new weapons training is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good upgrade that I think they made to weapons training. Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Man, you had me. I knew the results, and you had me like, wait, did I win this?
Well, you know what though? They were both 3 speed, and if
Yeah.
he would have went first down here, he would have hit this guy and taken him out, and then you would have been attacking him while he was attacking you.
But sadly, one of the cool things about Enrage specifically with the Life Leech is like that he would have been gaining 3 health and I'd have been dealing 4. So like he's dealing 6 damage to me and I'm effectively dealing 1. There's no heads up match where I'm going to go toe to toe with a Stitch Leech because even though like he's got 14 health right now, it's still not his max of what it was because he's taken a hit. So this dude's mad and enraged with 14 health. It's like life.
All right, we got this. We got the Psy guy versus Buns, and Buns playing the Waka. Interesting. Oh man.
Good for investors, good for players, good for anybody that wanted to. Now, the people that made a decision not to go into Rift Watchers was because they felt like they were earning enough and doing enough with Chaos that they didn't need to invest anymore. And so I feel like it's those same people that'll be telling us that, Rebellion's overpriced. But at the end of the day, Rebellion should be stable for 9 months. There's no situation where Rebellion should get out of control, because what happens is there's always going to be packs on the shelf. So if there's always going to be packs on the shelf, if any cards start to go ridiculous, then the people that have the capital will end up going for singles. They'll flip singles to offset costs and make money that way. There's many ways in the trading card world to make money, and there are people doing that outside of playing the game, right? So there is going to be a ceiling for Rebellion as long as it's on the shelf. Because as long as it's on the shelf, somebody's going to be able to go spend $4,000 to get like the max discount that they need. They can open up all of those, and because of just natural odds and distributions, they're going to hit the high peak value cards, be able to sell, recuperate cost, and go again. And so there's always going to be that supply and demand that'll keep the ceiling and the floor in check as long as the company doesn't go and modify the price from the store. Right.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And so this is when we were looking at pre-sale. I was talking to Mondroid about this, and I said, there's going to be a world when we get to regular distribution that I don't think a secondary price of these cards or a secondary price of the packs is going to go below $365, because in my mind, that's the 15% discount. And that's all you get. As long as DEC's at peg, you're not going to be able to buy a pack from the store cheaper than that. So nobody's going to sell it cheaper than that. Plus, there's no additional benefits because the conquest is now in place. So like just having bought packs last month means nothing for future value going forward unless you hold them. So lots of stuff set up in Rebellion for stability. And
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to take this as a good thing. There are going to be cards that are going to be more expensive than the rest of the set because they're going to be what's called meta. And that's good. That's a good thing. So, but yeah, I think the dual summoners, I think 3 is a great cost for those. We needed a 3-mana summoner at the end of the day after rotation. No abilities, but an additional color is fine. I don't see a world where you're trying to do dual color above 25 mana. If at any point you start getting into like your bigger cards, I don't think you're trying to mix colors except to fill out a really powerful deck that's low mana, or if you're like really constricted on like odds, magic only, reflect or whatever, you're like, man, well, there's 2 good cards in these 2 colors I would use. So it's a very niche card. Everything, in my opinion, is a niche card going into this new meta. So
I have one thought on that. I agree with most everything you said there, but I would say that the dual summoners, the interesting angle for them really will be also for brand new players who come in just owning Rebellion. They don't have Chaos. They don't have Rift Watchers. They want more options in every single battle context. And they will probably like if I was brand new and I didn't have any of those other cards, I would be wanting those cards, those summoners before others, even though they aren't necessarily going to be the most meta, because they're going to give you that breadth of card base to access within the one pack set that you have acquired.
Mm-hmm. And specifically in bronze, like 75% of those matches are 25 mana or less.
Yeah.
So like the dual color summoner is going to be huge in bronze, but like as you get up to gold plus, like that's where I don't know if I think they're going to be more niche up there. They're going to probably run bronze though.
Guys, we have 208 people, 208 on YouTube, and we got 108 likes. Yesterday with the town hall, we squeezed past 100 likes right after the 2-hour mark, just at the end. But let's get to like spike. Let's share the news. Like Ron said earlier, we are the marketing department. Like you guys are the marketing department. When you share this, when you throw the likes up, it tells the algo that people are interested. So hit it.
There you go. So I found out that Jin Bilka is an amazing card. This battle right here. When you watch this battle, you'll see.
Let's go.
Oh, we got a battle here. Okay, hold on. Let's get that going. So yeah, this was. Why don't you tell us your thought process about this team you made, Buns?
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of wanting to use, the newer cards, of course, but like I couldn't decide since it is I believe this is a little
Let me go ahead and get it to the first. We're gonna get it right before this ambush happens. So it is Little League, Enrage, and Amplify. Oh wait,
tank heal.
there we
So
go. I
I
had you
was
muted. So can you start over again? Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no worries. Can you hear me now? We good?
Yeah. No, I just had
Okay.
the stream muted. I could hear you.
Oh, all right. So yeah, the Little League. I don't really like Little League, but I used the tank in the front there since I seen he had heal, and then the Crystal Smith has tank heal. So I thought, oh, that'd be pretty good. And I looked for a Void Shield on a little mana in any of them, couldn't find one. But he went with the Obsidian, and that Jin Bilka in the back, even with the 2 health, it tore me apart. I really thought I was gonna win this battle, but it's just crazy. The end is just like I thought I'd get him with the scatter shot. I got lucky with a couple scatter shots hit, but wasn't good enough.
All right. Yeah. So it looks like he went heavy on the magic, and you didn't really do any kind of mitigation for magic. There's no reflect. There's no void. There's no silence.
Ron rubbing it in over here.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? He just happened to Sai. Did you just get lucky and happen to just know that he was not going to do any mitigation, or what was your plan going into this?
I actually thought it was magic only match. I just read the screen and thought it was magic
Oh,
only.
so you just didn't read the rule set.
That explains a lot.
And then I actually clicked on just the magic icon, so all the magic came up, and that's how it worked out. Sometimes it's better
You know
be
what's
lucky
funny
than
is-
good, right?
Yeah.
You know
All
what's
right,
funny?
well-
Sometimes I'll forget the third rule set, but then I've never had a situation where I imagine that there's a different rule set. So well done. That worked out.
Yeah, didn't you notice something was wrong when you saw all those like melee and ranged cards sitting next to you? Like you didn't think, oh, maybe maybe
When I saw the battle start, I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe this actually happened." But before that, I mean, I was convinced I made the right play. So it's.
well,
Yeah,
no,
I-
but when you're doing your team selection, there would have been ranged cards.
Oh, I
and-
accidentally clicked on the magic only
Oh.
select button.
Oh,
So I had no idea. I was literally all in on just magic. I was like, well, these are my selections, and that's what I'll go with. And that's
Oh, hey, so-
how it worked out. Yep. I was glad that there was no what's his name, the monk. I was glad that there was no Zenith monk in front rank, or else everything would have crumbled.
Mm.
oh, right, yeah, with that reflect and the amplify, that would have just demolished you.
Yep.
I still got close. Like it was down to the last 2 monsters.
Mm.
But he got me with that.
That
last
life
hit.
leech sustain. Let's go.
Oh, and the Jin Bilka
Got it.
right
Yeah,
there.
that's what I said. That Bill has 1 health, dude. 1 health. Come on, man. Oh.
All right. Well, that brings us to the final round. We've got Sai versus Kraken Jr. Oh, man. All right. So, I got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see the tactics play out in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Ghost Card tournament. Oh, now everybody's hearing you twice again. All right. I got to figure this out. So we bring it back over here. This is creator cams. Okay. And then I'm going to mute that one. All right. Let's make sure after sound. Can you say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Just making sure that we've got everybody on. All right. Yeah. No. So we didn't get to see the tactics today, but we've got to see a lot of interesting kind of meta changes. I would say, with these little league matches and the different strategies that have been playing out here. Kraken, did this before we get going? Did this last 5 matches? Did you guys go all 5 rounds?
No.
Sure did. Oh no.
Wait, I gotta know what a yes.
Opportunity. I just finished watching the last battle.
Okay, so it didn't go all 5. Let's check out
Good
the
matches,
first one here.
Kraken.
Let's check out this first one here.
If you notice, if you evaluate the result of this first match, you will know what happens on the rest of them.
Okay. Well,
It's an omen.
now this one right here, I'm actually not familiar with this turtle summoner or whatever. Yeah, this is a turtle, right? What does it actually do? Because whenever I've been playing in the test server, these all just got like little funny portrait, like avatar faces on them, and I don't get to see the actual card art.
If he's wearing purple, he does machines. If he's wearing orange, he eats pizza.
Okay. So he used a dual color in the 42 mana cap. Well, I guess it really didn't matter because he couldn't play the tactics.
No, there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
no,
Earth
I
element
will-
there.
Yeah. It's just too much information right now. It was like, I want to use this one, but I just didn't notice that green was not available. And that is a good lesson to learn. These new summoners are versatile, but they are not the neutral summoner. Need both. Yes.
Bingo. And actually, I actually really needed that. to
Can't
get
hear Rogue,
through.
they say. YouTube says they can't hear Rogue.
Oh, what is going on with this? Okay, thank you so much for watching on that. All right, so I'm gonna have to refresh the actual source of this to make
Rogue
this
spitting
work.
the secrets of Praetoria.
Yeah.
Big Splinterlands won't let him let out the secrets.
All right, you guys are all gonna go away for a second.
Freelance content creator right now. Just if you want,
You're
me to
doing a
spill
great
secrets,
job,
bring
though.
me onto your show.
All right, it shows you moving the mic, so everybody should be able to hear you now. Let's just get a mic check going around the whole table real quick before we go further, because this is being a little bit buggy, and I don't want.
Yo.
So Kraken. Okay, they don't hear you now. What is going on? Let's try that, Kraken.
Hello. Are you there?
All right, Infidel.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sai.
I am here.
Rogue.
Vonak.
Sinister.
Present.
Buns.
Yep.
Walking Keys. You're being awfully quiet over there.
I'm just enjoying everything. I'm just enjoying listening. I am
You just-
not very good at Splinterland, so I don't have a lot of commentary.
That's a lie.
Just taking it in, huh? And Aftersound.
What's up?
All right. Aftersound. You're my commentator guy here. We've got this lineup here. Let me get this big screen for you guys. We got this lineup here. We've got Sai with the Lily, making sure everybody attacks the Mantaroth, this new just amazing tank. And we got Kraken here. He's decided to play the Imperial Knight with that reflection and that heal and the void armor. But he's drawing everybody to his Marty over here. What do you think is going to happen here?
Oh, for that you're gonna have who's that? The Adelaide Brightwing, who's gonna repair or help to repair any of the armor that gets lost, which doesn't look like that's going to be the case, or maybe a little bit. So I think Mantaroth is going to steal the show.
Mantaroth is going to steal the show. Yeah, you know that new ability, that Armored Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's going to, I don't know. I think that's going to be a Wraith killer. Quite honestly, I'm not quite sure with all the repairs and stuff. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Corrosive Ward, which he doesn't have that.
Well, Corrosive Ward will definitely help to offset it, but there's no Corrosive Ward on the other side right now.
Now I got to say, if it wouldn't have been for Cripple in this match, I don't know if my team would have been able to get that Izziar in the end, right? Because all my magic attacks are being directed towards Izziar, but it's basically doing almost nothing because of his void, right? So each time it's hitting, even though it's hitting for 0, it's still managing to cripple Izzyar, which is one of my only outs there, right?
Yeah, but I think one of the things that oftentimes backfires in this situation is when people double up on their front tank and the reach monster, because you're effectively the way you have your team set up, you're only doing 3 damage outside of your front 2, and so your front 2 are pulling the bulk of your team here. So what'll end up happening then is, like, when your opponent decides that they're going to try to draw the back 5 to their back line with like an EZR or something in the back and try to get those Marty triggers, because like Adelaide Brightwing was back there to get a double trigger on the Marty for EZR. But because you were so front heavy, like right here, EZR has dropped into position 1, which should theoretically never happen in that lineup, right? You want EZR to die twice when this is set up in that way. So like, because you were weighted so heavy up front, like it was almost like this whole team just lost its identity and ended up kind of going like off script here. So really, really, really fun to watch when those happen, because right now in the current meta, we have it with who's the Possibilis. When Possibilis puts a reach monster in that second position, sometimes you get into these matchups in that the 1-2 position, focusing on their front tank is just, it's overwhelming for some strategies.
This all makes me think about the important buff to cripple, like, however many months ago, how they changed that, and it's not cleansable. And you see cripple being like, Dallin has a space in the magic only rule set, or not. Yeah. And because of that cripple, because sometimes you get silences on both sides and nobody does any damage, but then the cripple comes along and helps out, or poison too, obviously, but cripple is great nowadays.
Yeah, and it also prevented the giant heal that I was going to have on that Zaxxarok or whatever his name is too, right? Zaxxarok was up to like 15 health, and my Meerkat was going to be able to heal it pretty much like 5 health a turn, right? So
just made it. Made it. If you'd have lost that
damage,
Brightwing,
that's what I was saying with the void armor, right? If it wouldn't have been for cripple, I wouldn't have been able to do any damage at all past that point, right? So the cripple's what brought it down to allow my Adelaide Brightwing to actually get that final point of magic damage, or else there would have been no way to win. And I kind of ran the same problem with Izzyar there for a while too, right? So I'm lucky that the blast for Mantaroth managed to take out that Chaos Agent for the revive on Chaos Agent instead of the revive on Izzyar that would have ended up happening instead.
I mean, also that Kraken's guy, I don't know the name of the card, but the new Rebellion card that has stun. I mean, that thing hits stun. I think 3 out of the 4 turns.
It got me every time, pretty much. As soon as I saw it, when it hit the 3rd time, I was sitting here. I was like, no, I can't believe that happened.
This is not 50-50. Come on.
Yeah.
Stun can change the game, definitely, but he went through my front line, and that was the end of it. EZR was expected, just like Rose said, to last longer, definitely, and it went to the front line, and that's not good.
That was Mantaroth.
Yeah,
I see you did the Izzyar again on this one here.
3
revivals. I love Izzyar. I love Izzyar.
Resurrects.
I will try everything I can with these new cards if I get them, the ones I get them, and see what works, because Izzyar can create some interesting situations there. Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny, in this one here, I was thinking about doing double martyr on Inevitable, because I was going to put another martyr guy between Inevitable and the Titan there, right? Because then it would have just been poisoned out if nothing else, and they would have died. They would have triggered a bunch on Inevitable. But then I was like, you know what? He's going to have so much heal of his own. If I don't include Dr. Blight, who's like the ultimate card pretty much, then I'll just end up losing to their heal. So sometimes you have to make concessions especially in a poison match, you have to make concessions just to have something that has afflict.
Absolutely.
Inevitable is just such a good card. And I know that one of the new metas that I see happening, I've already been seeing it, is going to be Panda with a martyr in front, Inevitable in second place, another martyr in third place. So you have to kill both martyr guys, and you end up with just Inevitable in the front being healed over and over, since it can't be afflicted, it can't be poisoned, it just sits there, and it is Inevitable.
And you said Panda in position 2 because you're taking, or you're Panda in position 1 because you're taking advantage of that flank.
I've got him in position too because I just knew that Vruz was going to die, and I just wanted him to double martyr onto Inevitable, right? So I didn't care that I was going to lose one turn of attacking with my how can I not remember his name? The 11 casting cost 4/4 double striker guy. I was just like, that doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is keeping Inevitable alive so that he can continue to do everything that he does. Like he's got triage, he's immune, he strengthens. Like the whole point of this was just have Vruz die, make Inevitable huge, and then follow up with everyone else.
Looks like smart too, because you always got to watch out for that 5 attack too. If you like Marty too much and you get your thing up to above 5 attack, you're force field eligible then at that point.
Yeah, and I was worried that there was going to be some cleanse that was here, or not. Dispel. I was really worried about Dispel in this match. And I just kind of got lucky because I think that if there's no Dispel for an Inevitable, then you're going to run into a lot of problems.
Yep.
Especially because of the martyr tactics, right? And with Panda, you have to go through him first.
Bro, can you hear after sound? Just kind of curious. You were about to say something, right? After sound?
Yeah, I did. I'm wondering if maybe you can't hear me, but
I can hear.
Oh, okay.
No, what's up, bro?
Sorry.
Sorry, I think I chose a bad break in the conversation to say that a lot of people are saying in the chat that the game is back live. So just FYI.
Yeah, we just got the game live. Time to open up those packs, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people in chat here that's got a lot of packs, I think.
Good luck with your airdrops.
Yeah, good luck. And well, let's just get this match over with here. So we've got the double martyr. Hopefully, if it triggers, maybe something back here gets hit with these. Oh no. All right. So we've got the martyr, the resurrect, and then the double martyr.
I like the way that shield attack looks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Looks real good.
It was nice that they actually made a distinction between the 2 attacks. That's
What do you guys think about this new poison emblem up here?
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like the delineation that they've done. It kind of was needed. I didn't even realize it was needed, but now that I see it, it's actually kind of useful. Delineating between this monster can poison somebody versus this monster is poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable is a lot like a modern day Kralis, hey? Like big, meat shield immune, resilient. Better though, maybe.
He doesn't get 2 attacks that get martyred like Kralis does, but I mean the fact that he's immune, the fact that he's immune, he's got triage and everything. He's good, man. I wish that I had more of him in my real account, right? But I'm a big fan. I need to get some after playing him.
Man, look at this. This martyr just keeps going.
He's got one more trigger after this one too.
Oh, 6 and 10.
There's no end to it.
No, there's even another one. Oh my goodness.
Just keeps going and going.
Oh man.
To compare this to that last match, it's like if Silence on the bottom there had done focus on frontal attack as opposed to the magic, then that might not have worked. I think there would have been too much damage still. But you would have done you would have attacked the Mantaroth and not focused on the taunt.
Yep. I needed my own taunt guy though, because I wanted to keep the damage away from Inevitable as much as possible. I was basically banking on Inevitable.
I mean, when you stack everything there, and especially in the Noxious Fumes, you try to keep it alive till the late game to where 1 versus 3, it just won't sustain. But yeah, I mean, the 4th Marty on the Caution Bossier. Jeez. Oh man. I love
this
that Mantaroth.
This is a great game. Oh, there goes his 7 magic attack.
Yeah.
And
that
shields.
It's funny that tank in the back there, the Longtail, actually might sustain through the entire course of this match.
It's the heal.
Yeah, that was really good.
All right, guys. Well, now that we're out of maintenance, we have we've got some other people who have contributed to this game that couldn't be here during the whole, getting stuff working. So we've got Bob here in the audience. Let me bring him on. Or, let me say, call me Tim.
Hey, Ron, I'm doing 25 days of Splinterlands giveaway, so I'm gonna hop off because I'm gonna do that before 3 because somebody else is doing a tournament at 3. So I'm gonna hop off here if that's all okay.
What? You've got a stream that you're gonna try to compete with this stream?
Content creators.
180 viewers here, Buns.
I have something that is, it's dedicated, so it doesn't make any sense by saying it's dedicated, but it's dedicated. It's only gonna take me like 20 minutes to do, so I just need to get it done because my friends are doing tournaments at 3 that they're streaming. I don't want to interfere with them or anything like that, so I'll just interfere with you guys.
All right. Well, go ahead and jump off. The video call will take care of it. If you just jump off, it'll pop you out of here. But thanks for coming on, Buns. Thanks for being part of this tournament, and thanks for spreading the word about Splinterlands.
Oh, absolutely! I love being here. So thank you, man. Any other ones you guys got coming up? Please reach out to me. Seriously. But it's nice seeing you all, and hopefully we're all on here again soon.
See you later, Buns.
Ooh, look at that
Later,
new
Buns.
screen. Oh, let's go. Sorry, I just logged in to. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it looks
Been
great.
Staring at that Chaos banner for 2 years. Let's go.
Oh,
I like the new font on the icon, the Splinterlands icon.
Yes, that I didn't notice that either, but I do like that.
Well,
I'm such a big fan of that squat little goblin-looking guy in the front as an alternative to the Zenith Monk, because I find that I'm always having to jam Zenith Monk. There's like almost no choice. You always put Zenith Monk. I'm glad to finally have an alternative to Zenith Monk at this point. So
Yeah.
I love that little squat demon-looking guy.
Squat demon.
Can you
Let's
help
go.
me with that?
Everybody write it down. These are the official names. Sorry
Squatty.
to the lore team. They put in a lot of effort naming these cards. And no,
What's the
that's
mana
Squat
cost?
Demon.
What's the mana cost on that front?
From
column?
now on,
Oh, let's look at it.
4. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a
he's
four
only-
and a
he's
four.
only
Is
four.
this Little League?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's only 4 for a 6/9. He's good. He's
Yeah.
real good.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, we got some
And-
good 4-mana tanks.
And of course, we got blights. That's been pretty ubiquitous in this whole tournament. even in the high mana ones, we've been seeing a lot of blight action. And then we've got what the heck is this? This Wailing Wraith. That's a funky looking card. I like that artwork.
OP.
OP.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
its stats have changed.
So good.
Well, it's got that armor strike, and it's got reach, and it's got rust. Oh
Did
man,
anyone-
and affliction. Jeez, so it hits
Yeah, a
for
double strike in Little League. That was
Yep.
that was huge.
yeah.
I did nerf it a little, so it doesn't gain more than 1 shield until the final level, I think, or the final 2 levels. So it pulled back a little bit on its damage output.
That's not terrible though. Yeah, I mean, just sometimes hitting something twice is the important part.
Oh yeah, like we
But-
saw with that cripple rule set.
Exactly. No, that's actually really cool. There you go. That's a Dallin card. Even with 1 shield,
Nice.
that's a Dallin card right there. You hear that, B Jangles? They helped you.
Guys, are you opening up your packs? Or are you?
I'm waiting for
or-
you. I'm holding on to mine, waiting until I think we're gonna do it on stream.
I'm opening some.
I'm hanging.
You know, we
I'm
can,
hanging out.
I
for-
just
you know.
I opened one. I couldn't stop. I got a gold
I,
bandit.
I
How did
clicked on
everybody-
all of them. I'm looking. I'm not opening them. Like they're on my screen right now. I'm ready to
I'm
click
staring
on
at them
them.
too.
Oh, I got
Got
legendary. I got legendary. I can see a legendary at least. I'm just looking at the glow. Oh, another legendary. 3 legendaries.
I'm looking at Mantaroths for $24 on the market. Is that a good price or a bad price? Early thoughts. Just curious.
Good
Good
price.
price. Good price. Crazy.
I mean, at
crazy,
this point,
crazy
the
good price.
floor of all promo pre-release cards has like 35 to 40. Like even
What?
Dr. Blight at this point's down there, and so is the dragon girl.
Yep.
One thing I'm noticing here is there's only 1 flying monster in a earthquake rule set. Is that? I mean, I guess you guys just were relying on shields mostly or something.
Yeah.
Scavenge
Yep.
In triage.
and triage. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the Murdompier gains health as well just from hitting things.
Yep. Yeah, that's usually one of the frustrating parts is that you could still run a melee Kelia team in Thorns, and it's fine. It's fine. It sometimes still works.
Well, don't forget that's the squat goblin's got he's got shield too, right? So he's only taking one back unless they've got
The
amplify.
squat goblin.
Yeah, he's so good.
That's great.
Has anyone noticed how many flying cards there are in Rebellion?
Oh no, we're dropping frames.
Are there not many, Tim or Bob?
I think there's 6.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Tim, I mentioned, or I called it earlier. There isn't any 1-cost cards.
No.
The lowest mana is 2. What were
Or
your
0.
thoughts on that?
It wasn't explicitly intentional. So it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do ones. It was just more as cards got balanced and the cards formed. It was just didn't have anything in that one slot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes sense to keep utility for the chaos cards that are 0 and 1 mana too.
Well, that true. Also, I really wanted to do that 2 mana cycle of no attack cards. So we already had a pretty good representation on the very low end. So we'll see ones again. But
you know how much I appreciate that cycle? Like I already mentioned it. Failed Summoner has been the bane of my existence for 2 years.
Yeah.
And now that I'm going to have like a similar in all colors, I'm just gonna be a happy boy for the rest of my career in Splinterlands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad everyone recognized it as a cycle too, because it's not as obvious as the Fiends. But thematically they're not all the same. But
yeah. No, it was appreciated. But yeah, I think we were talking about it, and there's definitely a lot more. There's a lot of Little League love in Rebellion, but not on the low end of the spectrum of like the 1 cost or lower. So very supportive and appreciative.
Cool. Big shout out to Sai with the win.
I was going OX. I thought it was
GG's. Congratulations.
I thought it was Magic only guy wins the tournament.
Like I said, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right?
Oh, big congrats! And, I wish we had some prizes to give you. Maybe I can, kick around and see if I can dig something up. But the glory, at least you get the glory, which I'm sure is worth something.
Shameless plug here, but as a lot of my viewers know, I always do challenges every time I stream, and that's every Thursday from 9 to 11 EST. So if you guys want to take on the champ, then you know where to find me. Thursday, 9 p.m. EST.
Nice plug there.
I'll see you for the rematch.
Now, let me get this. Oh, Rogue, are you muted? I see your mouth moving and I don't hear you.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Who's all opening packs?
I couldn't resist. I'm opening packs right now.
I was going to ask too. Is anybody have some pretty good luck on the airdrop, or?
I didn't check that.
Sadly, I bought mine in a group buy, so I don't have an airdrop to pull.
Airdrop yet?
I also bought through a group buy.
But Rondon, if you want, I can share my screen and open up my packs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the screen share. Give me a second to set it up, and then
since everybody else selfishly opened theirs,
I'm saving my epics and legendaries, and there's a good number of them. So
okay. Well, then you can go Infidel first. I haven't done anything. I'm still at the portal.
Someone share their screen, and I'll get it up on.
Okay, I'm going to share screen. If I think, yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to see if any packs have been bought yet, but the numbers don't seem to be refreshing.
Okay, I'm sharing.
All right, give me a second. I'll have to.
After Sound, I think one of the things I noticed was like we didn't fully sell out of the pre-sale, but none of those packs made their way to burn, or were they supposed to go to the DAO? I don't remember.
They were supposed to be burned according to the post, but it was like 7,000 or 8,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think they just have they're gonna have to fix the number here because it says there's less than 1 million packs remaining, which I don't think is accurate. Obviously, it should be like 9.5.
Yeah. Look at it go.
Totally controversial, but I'd like to see those go to the DAO, open them, and then send cards to Nifty Arcade. That's my controversial hot take of the stream.
Oh yeah, you're gonna trigger a lot of people with that one.
Oh yeah.
Rage.
All right, I got the. We lost to Bob.
Bob,
come back.
Whatever your name is.
Oh, there he is. All right, let's get this. I got the screen share up here, and we've got
infinite
view.
screens.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I went through my comments and my rares, and there's some juicy ones in here. I got some cool gold foils, but I saved all my epics and my legendaries. I didn't see anything like I don't know this deck so well yet. I'm still definitely learning it, so I can't say I know precisely like if I got a real win on some of these rares. But I did get some gold foils, which these look sick by the way. The new gold foil edging, love it. I was happy to see some of the summoners come through in a decent number. I only opened 120 packs. That's all I had. I am definitely going deeper. If anybody is like hearing this and thinking, wow, like he's only getting 100 packs. My vision is 1,000 to 2,000, but that's the within the next 9 months. I'm just hoping to pull some things together for that. But I just want to quickly show these guys, and then I'll pop up and we'll open the epics and the legendaries and see what we get. But I counted my legendaries. I think I got 9 of them. So, and hopefully each of them is filled with 9. We got 9 or 10 per legendary click. Maybe we'll see. Here we go. These are the epics. Executioner Kron. That one we showed that one at Splinterfest. Remember, guys?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we did.
Ooh, I like that art. I haven't seen that one yet. I didn't thoroughly look at.
Oh, that's the one with flank. Yep.
Cool. And dodge with the 1 speed, but the dodge. Interesting.
Is this another thing with wings that doesn't fly until later?
Yeah, and there was a large discussion internally as to whether it should fly or not.
Check this out.
That's like classic
It's like an
trading card
ostrich.
games. I love it. Like you're looking at the art and you're like, it should do this, and it doesn't.
Oh, there's a legendary. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rush is fun. Ambush.
Ambush with the afflict too. Man, affliction is like affliction and rust I find are just something I use a lot nowadays, and Kerpel too. Epic. A Goldie. That's gotta be worth something.
Let's go.
Oh, nice.
Good pool.
Are you guys watching live or are you like delayed behind me?
We're watching live.
Okay.
I'm watching with you.
We'll just go legendaries here. I'll just do them one at a time as we go down. Come on, multi. Oh, I'd love to see a 2. Little 2 in here would be beautiful.
Yeah, you guys here in the call, you should be able to see this, and if you need to, full screen it. But it's here in the call. I'm sharing the actual screen that he's, or you guys can watch it on his screen too.
Yeah. Yeah, we're watching it here, but it's just funny because it's like that's the one.
That's the one.
That's
That's the one.
legendary.
Oh, I'm gonna need at least 10 more of those though.
Hey man, there's a lot of packs for sale, so feel free to go and do your
Yes,
part.
that's the one I got to reveal. That's the one I got to
Nice.
share with me. Love this card.
Nice.
Yeah. This one has the weapon training, and with the kind of revision around weapons training, it's no longer going to be just 4. I think it's going to be a maximum of 3. I think to me, Darg has a max damage output of 3, so he's like maximally taking advantage of weapons trainer.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think
So,
it's interesting.
gold
The
foil.
clockwork aid and that both we're talking like 1 speed things that give swiftness, and I'm like, that's call me to him. You got a theory on that?
I'm sorry, what was it? I missed.
Giving swiftness to cards that have only 1 speed.
What are your thoughts?
It's just you had to balance it, so it's you're trying to take a sacrifice, it's like you're playing a support card, but it doesn't actually support itself, so you're trying to be really intentional with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really on a case by case, card by card basis, honestly. So there's a lot that went into, like, there's certain mechanics I want to see represented, and there's certain cards I want to see them represented on. But there's also mana costs to hit curves. You want to make sure there's enough, cards for Little League, enough for even odd rule sets, all that kind of stuff. So at some points, the hitting all those objectives results in a couple casualties.
It almost seems like like when you put swiftness on a 1 mana card, or 1 speed card, it's going to basically keep you from using it in the reverse speed rule set. You know, you don't want to give your entire team swiftness if you're trying to go slow. Which, I mean, you know, I don't know. It adds something to it. There's a niche for it, but it definitely kind of limits your choices whenever you're trying to do a reverse speed.
Yeah, I would say also with the trainers in particular, I really like the trainers to have, you know, something that's good for the trainees, right? Like, so the swiftness is really here more for the trainees than it is for the Darg. But yeah, I get the point regarding the 1 speed.
I like it, like an old master that's just like, yeah, I've been doing this for years. I'm a little bit slower than I used to be, but I'll show you how to be fast.
Yeah,
I'm gutted, dude.
Oh, a double, nice.
Oh, let's go.
There you go. I just went and bought $50 worth of credits so I could pick up the 2 Mantaroth that were on the market for $24.99 each. I bought the credits and they're gone.
Oh,
what's the new price?
This card is this is that lower card that was like the king and got overthrown, right?
Yeah, I think that's the one they were talking about. Yeah,
I'll sell them to you for 26.
Yeah, let's go.
I think it hits hard at level 1.
Yeah, level 1, like bronze, just gobbling up little bronzies.
Bob, was that intentional? Was that something you wanted to just like people to be able to decimate in bronze with?
There was definitely objectives around certain abilities showing up at certain leagues, and I definitely wanted with all the. Sorry, I'm looking at the polls. That's a good poll too. Yeah. So I'll go with yes, intentional.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, there's some intention behind every design here.
Darn it!
We got Cy over here trying to score some deals on the market. Getting
I'm just trying to get some before they hit like 40, 50. I'm still like, but I just went and bought more credits, and then the one for 23 just got eaten up too. Now they're $30, and then 40, and then 100. And man, I need to get those guys.
Walking Keys, we need you here. How to play market? Go.
Sit back and relax.
There you go.
Now is not the time to buy. Prices, they got to find a balance first. You may sneak in and get a good deal right now, but there's a better chance you're gonna overpay for something in 2 weeks or even
I don't
2
know.
days.
That's a risk I'm just not willing to take when it's cards like Mantaroth and Grimbarden Smith. Like the amount that's printed of those cards is lower than the amount of Dr. Blight. And I feel like just having played Mantaroth, you guys saw the matches that had Mantaroth in it. If you're in Champion or something like that, having a 4-star Mantaroth with Blast and Double Strike, basically a Double Strike equivalent, that card is just so game breaking. And I feel like it's going to be one of those cards that if you have it, you're going to do really well. And if you don't, then you're kind of possibly going to lose to it. So I don't want to take the chance of such a low print card being all bought up. And then the only ones that are left are going to be like, $50, $100. And I didn't make my move when it was available for $30. And then I'm kicking myself down the line. So, I mean, I've got a little FOMO in me. I won't deny it. But my goal was always to have maxed Grimbarden Smith and maxed Mantaroth because those 2 cards are insane. And if I don't get them, then I feel like my play is going to be impacted. So I don't want to be renting them for 300, 400 DEC a day because in the end, I'll have just consumed the amount that would have cost me to buy it in just rental costs. So I'm trying to get on it now while you can. Like I know that I watched one of Aftersound's videos when he was doing a comparison with the print numbers of Mantaroth and Grimbarden Smith and kind of comparing them to Dr. Blight. And Dr. Blight's the best card in the game. And I mean, I can see Mantaroth being right up there. And whenever there's going to be like a high mana match, you can expect to see Mantaroth in the front ranks and maybe even followed by that Chaos Titan or whatever his name is in Dragon. And having Mantaroth and then giving Mantaroth Ambush, that's going to be insane. Like Mantaroth with Ambush is going to be like the combo. So I don't know, guys. I don't want to sleep on them. I know that there's not many of those guys in existence. And I think that if you've got a 4-star Mantaroth and you've got like a 10-star Grimbarden or 8-star Grimbarden, whatever the limit is for rares, I think that's really going to put you ahead when it comes time to play in ranked or even tournaments. Those cards are just so good.
It's always
Like, I
going to
don't
be
know if I'm
about calling your
overvaluing
shots.
Mantroth, but double strike blast seems pretty good. That's to me the equivalent of 4 hits, right? It's equivalent of 4 hits because you hit and then it hits 2 guys, and then you hit again, it hits 2 guys. That's 4 hits, and they're good hits too. It's not like it's hitting for 1-1-1-1. He's a big boy, and if you pump that armor and you're blasting, and he's got an armor of 7, I mean that's a blast of 5 off his armored strike, right?
Who needs Yodin?
Well, I think what you've done
Yeah.
on this stream is definitely raise the price.
Well, it sucks because I still need 2 more.
Well, I hear you about that FOMO though. I really wish I would have bought a Dr. Blight at the beginning instead of waiting. I almost waited almost a year after it came out before I even bought mine. And yeah, I paid for it. I paid for it in lost battles, and I paid for it in market price because
Yeah.
it sure proved its worth.
I wanted to say something there. It's going to be, I think, like I hear Silent saying that, like, you know, you want to move on these things. And I think you're right. There are going to be some cards that are really must have. And I think if you recognize that before others, there's an advantage in that. But simultaneously, it's about picking the lanes because you can't have them all. And I would just point out that I just opened 120 packs, and the list price list price for those cards, the list price is $2,000, but that's $600 worth of packs. So the lack of liquidity is making the list price way higher than it ought to be. So you got to be very conscious of what you're paying on these things at this moment.
Yeah.
No. Oh God, Trash Panda. Why Trash Panda?
Oh, are you getting sniped again, or?
Oh man, it's killing me. And I just burned SPS in order to get it too. I'm burning SPS to get the DEC I need right now.
This guy is throwing everything at the wall.
I'm not waiting. Like I said, I'm not waiting.
Oh,
that's not one that I can afford to miss. It's not one I can afford to miss out on.
Well, Bob, I'm not sure if you know the answer to the question, but is this the way, or did they take away the little pop-up that shows up every time you refresh the screen now? Here? That might be more of a investee question, but yeah, there's no, like when I refresh the page or go to a new page, the little pop-up that says welcome, and you have to always click X. Is it just gone now?
Yeah, not part of Rebellion release, so I'm not sure why that's not showing.
Okay. Well, I'm actually kind of happy, but I don't know. Maybe it was helpful or something, but yeah, that's.
All right, I'm short 1 Mantaroth now, guys. There's the update for you. I'm short 1 Mantaroth.
All right.
So,
do we got anybody
the
else
promo
opening up
cards,
packs?
The time to get those is probably now. You're absolutely right. But anything else in Rebellion, I would hold off from going nuts on it.
Totally agree. You can't get Mantaroth in packs. You can't get Grimbarden in packs. This is it. What you see on the market is probably it, because I don't know many players who bought like their 1,100 packs and are going to be like, well, I'll just sell all my Mantaroth. No, those guys are combining it, right?
Yeah.
The only people who are putting them on are probably the people who bought in excess of 1,100 packs, and those players are going to be few and far between. And if they're not giving it to their scholars to play with, right, then
as a counter to
everybody is not everybody is claimed. Not everybody is claimed in the first hour either.
Yeah.
A lot of those people bought thousands of packs.
Yep.
They're going to claim it over 24 hours. So
there's a big counter to like the
good
big
for you, man.
The counter argument, and I think it needs to be spoken in a moment like this, is definitely the fact that, there's going to be not just Keys just said it, like there's some that haven't claimed yet, but also bigger than that, even just months down the road, because this is going to be out for 9 months. You're right. These cards are really important and they will be valuable and useful and expensive. But there's definitely going to be people from time to time over the next several months who just say, you know what, I have a maximum Grimbarden Smith and I'm just willing to like liquidate for like a reasonable price. That's going to happen. And if we're paying attention, you'll have opportunities. I'm not saying cheap. I'm saying for a reasonable price. Yep.
It's just like when you look at it, though, if people like me are even looking to purchase right now, the floor is already up to basically like $40 on them now, right? So the ones that were there that were like $23, $25, those are all gone. And you like in the background here, when I was looking down at my keyboard, that was me getting constantly, this one is sold, this one is sold, this one is sold over and over and over again, right? So it's not like there aren't other people on there hunting these cards down as we speak, trying to get a full deck. And there's an opportunity cost to waiting, right? The opportunity cost to waiting is that throughout that whole period of time when you're trying to get it cheaper, you're losing matches to the people who now own those cards, right? So I don't want to be one of those people who just gets beat by Mantaroth for 3 months while I wait and hope and pray that someone decides to put it on the market. You know, it's 3 months worth of opportunity cost. How much more could I have earned if I would have had it, you know, throughout that time and had that competitive advantage?
Well, it looks like somebody on YouTube was taking credit for sniping all those out from underneath you.
Who was it? Who was it? I need a name.
Brandon H. I don't know.
Brandon H.
Sorry to call you out there, buddy. But you put
Vet V.
yourself out there.
That's Vet V.
Oh, that's Vet V? Okay.
Yeah.
Steve got him at 23.92.
Yeah, I got a few at 23. But I'm short one. It's going to be a challenge now, waiting for that last one.
Oh man, has anybody played any of this in ranked yet? Are you guys playing in the background while we're on this call, or being patient?
No,
We're all playing the game within the game, the market.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that people could do in moments like this is like set a bid, because right now if you set a bid for $25, there's only 3 BCX above you at that point. So like if you're really confident with that 25, then what you could do is then when like a whale logs on and is trying to liquidate, you know, it might eat up a lot of that. It might hit that $25 price point with you. So just always setting a bid is something that you could just set it and, you know, go to sleep. And if you wake up with a $25 card, it feels good. You know, and then back to Infidel's point, you know, if you play the longer, one of the things that I've noticed is like, as I'm trying to build gold level or diamond level, as I'm trying to go, you know, buying multiple BCX is kind of really the best way to get the most discount, right? So like you can be a little bit more stingy, hold on and just wait for like a bulk BCX buy, right? Because, you know, when we're talking about $40 cards, you know, maybe selling 3 BCX or 6 BCX is easier selling it at 25%, 30% off, just to try to get it to move, right? And if you're the bid for that, then that's something that you can take advantage of. So if you really like that price, I would just set 25 on the bid and just walk away, you know, because if somebody lists for 23, it'll auto trigger the bids, right? So unless somebody's religiously sitting on it.
Are you guys able to find this on?
So
hold on. Maybe it's a user error, but I can't find Mantaroth on Peak Monsters.
Neither can I.
I had to type in Mantaroth.
Oh yeah, you got it. He said under promo. He's not on Rebellion. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I had to type it in.
Jarvis trying to buy him up, so he's making it not visible on Peak Monsters.
The back door. The FX.
All right.
I have not opened the gold foil legendary yet.
Oof. I tried to share my screen, but then I bogged down quite a bit. So I don't know if I can open my packs on stream with everybody.
Oh, okay.
Ron, you want to try one more time?
I mean, we can try. Go ahead and see if it's I saw you kind of struggling earlier just on the video call. It was showing like you're yellow right now. You got a little bit of packet loss going on. So I wouldn't even. You got the screen up though? No, yeah, it's red.
Way too quick.
Yep.
No, we'll just. I has little computer, and my little computer can't handle it.
Oh, but you don't have a 4090 Ti there running Splinterlands?
Like a laptop. But yeah, I'll have to open up those later. So, but Tails, what are you doing?
I am searching the market for deals.
Nothing.
Looking how
You
to
said
spend
you're on
my
the
money.
market, Tails?
Yeah, looking how to spend my money. But everything's really expensive thanks to Silence. So
yeah, thanks, Si.
Well, lowest bid's 35. So I mean, it's not just me. Other people are trying to get them right now too. So
we're gonna call you Chief FOMO Officer now.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
I think, this is definitely just a sell moment. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most looking forward to right now is I've actually never been able to participate in this moment in a set release when like I was really fresh in Chaos, and so I was on the back, right? Didn't have vouchers, didn't able to participate really much. And then when I was in the Rift Watchers, I did, but I mean to only like 150 packs. This time I was able to participate up to 400 packs. So like I'm getting every release, I'm getting more and more up to that whale status that I'm very much looking forward to. Of like on launch, I can open up enough packs and be maxed out for where I want to be. And I think it's going to be, you know, we're moving the ball forward just a little bit at a time. So because I remember in Chaos, my my guild leader at that time opened up a gold foil Quix the Devious, and that thing was selling for like $3,500. And I gave him the best piece of advice that a new guy in crypto could have ever given anybody. I said, dude, hold on to that. It's going to be the best card.
It's only going up from here.
We had no idea. We had no idea. He held that and it tanked. We were in the hype of Splinterlands. We had no idea what like this hype cycle was or anything. That we thought $3,500 for a card was acceptable. I don't know. Kitty was like 10 grand at that point, so 3,500 was reasonable, and we were never going to come down from those highs.
Yeah.
Back
And speaking to that
day.
moment a little bit, like when Dr. Blade came out, and you know, Dr. Blade, there's way more of them than some of these other promos, and Dr. Blade's amazing. We even talked about it earlier. Somebody said it was like the best card. It's very, very useful, wins a lot, very powerful, and it's got a good price even still. But it was way, way higher when there was no supply, and there's no supply for these cards right this second. So
Yeah.
I know I hear the arguments, and I believe there's truth in the arguments around like, you know, it could only go Mantaroth particular, and it does look amazing. But I'm just saying, like, you know, the future, there's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot of moments. And I think often prudence and patience is the key with a game like this. That's what I've seen over the years. And that's what I saw. That's why I sold my Dr. Blades when I got them. And then I held on to what I needed to, but I sold a ton of them, and I've never regretted it.
No, yeah, patience.
Never regretted
Patience,
selling Dr. Blade.
No, because I kept my Dr. Blade, but I'm saying I sold all my extras because the price point was way higher on day one. I think it might have been 100 per BCX for regular foil, I think.
Wow.
That doesn't even sound like that good a deal when vouchers were $20 each. It's like 5 vouchers, right?
Yeah.
Right. That was coming off the heels of the Chaos boom or the Untamed boom, and the just everything was just sky high before 15 million packs were out in circulation.
Yeah,
By the way,
I think. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you guys were interested, I unstaked DEC from land. I'm taking a hit on my land. I got my last Mantaroth, so I'm there.
Oh, geez. So
Yeah,
you've put in
there.
credits. You've burned SPS, and then
Unstaked land. I'm a player
man.
first and foremost. To me, having the card to play with is more important than the passive income from land. And I'm sure I'll be able to restake that later. But again, I'm not about to miss the opportunity cost of picking up a Mantaroth right now. It was higher than I wanted. My target was 30. I'll pay the 35 for the last one. You know,
okay.
If that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do.
DCA, baby.
When you face silence now, you know there's going to be a 4-star Mantaroth in the front every game. Like, it's done and done.
So we got we're winding down here. We got about 10 minutes left in this stream. What I would like to do is get some kind of a little bit of wrapping this up and conclusions from you guys, and kind of like, where do you think this Rebellion set is going to lead us? Do you think that it's good for the game? Do you think this is power creep? Do we think that this is something that it has been well thought out and possibly I'm actually kind of leading you a little bit with this question here, but I do think, like, in my opinion, that this set has been really good at establishing and finding a niche to fill, rather than just being a completely new just taking over from older sets. But what do you guys think about that? 1 second. So, Kraken, hold on. Kraken, hold on. You're sitting here talking, and nobody can hear you. Yeah,
I can hear him.
no,
can hear
no, the it's not picking up on the mic. Yeah, no, everybody else is showing up. Let me try to refresh this again. I'm not quite sure what's going on. This is we're trying a new style here. Usually I have everybody's own source controlled, but this one right here, I'm trying to do like these group scenes, and yeah, it's not even. Let me try that. Okay, and then yeah, he's not even showing up on there. Interesting. Let me pull you off and then put you back on. Maybe that's the ticket. Try that again.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Who else are we? We're missing someone else here too. After sound. All right, go ahead. Now that we hear you.
So yeah, what I was saying is, since I am from the Chaos Legion era, I'm so glad that I will not be facing Jodin and simply skipping to resolve, because 90% of the time that would be a defeat for me in Modern. That is one of the things that I definitely welcome with the new Rebellion era. There are some interesting. I like someone mentioned. I like the new close to 3 to 4 mana cards that come into Rebellion, because I think they will fill some really nice spots, and for Little League they will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to using the new summoners with the conflicts and all the new things that are coming. So I think this is a great chance for people who are coming new into the game too. We have common summoners, which is an interesting situation there. Even for someone who's only going to place bronze or silver, for example, which is the beginner states. So and before we end up, thank you to everybody who has come into the stream, all those who have been chatting on Twitch and on YouTube. Keep playing. I opened up my 147. I was expecting to get maybe a gold foil legendary. I didn't, but I did get some legendary cards in here. I will be playing as usual with my deck and trying to fill in. I'm not going to go full Rebellion, but I will try to fill in my Chaos Legion deck with those cards that I think are going to help me. Mostly, maybe because of my budget, maybe commons, rares, and we'll see if we can push some of the other ones. But yeah, good luck to all, and thank you for the event.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Looking forward to that rematch, man.
Of course. Yes.
Just pulled a gold.
Yeah,
column.
I gotta say, I think Rebellion's going to do really well. I'm excited. It's the first set that's really changing up the gameplay, and I think that adds a new dimension and sets the foundation for a future game that's really exciting as well. So I'm excited. I've got packs. I've opened too many, but I'll be opening the rest on stream at some point tonight. But thank you for doing this, everybody. It's good hanging out with you all. Good to see some faces I haven't met before. So thank you all.
How many have you opened so far?
About 40.
You said just one earlier.
Yeah, I did about 43.
All right, Sai, what do you think about this? What's your closing thoughts on this?
I'm really excited. I mean, I've been a player. I got in right at the very, very end of Untamed. So back then I was just a silver player and I wasn't really too invested in Splinterlands, obviously not the way I am now. So it's going to be nice for me to be able to play with cards that were like current from when I for real started playing, which is Chaos Legion, and seeing all of Untamed rotate. I thought that some of the Untamed cards were a little bit oppressive to have so long in Modern, like Jodin, Kitty, and some of the others. So I'm really happy to see those gone, shake up the meta, see what cards end up on top of the stack for this new game that's basically exists now, because it's a whole new world, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. Rebellion especially, like some of those cards just look amazing. I don't know if I'd say they're stronger than Chaos Legion, but they're at least on par. So I'm excited to crack packs again. I'm excited to play the market again. I'm excited to use my Mantaroth. I mean, there's lots of good things that are happening right now. And as a player, first and foremost, I mean, this is what excites me the most, is the new meta, learning it, and hopefully trying to get ahead of the curve and playing some cards and some combinations that other people might not think of.
Excitement.
That sounds like your family's very excited for this too.
My wife came home early. I got to give props to my wife. She came home early so she could look after the kids, so I could be on stream here today. So props to her.
Oh, that's awesome.
She puts up with me in Splinterlands. I spend a lot of time on Splinterlands, so got to give her cred.
Who did we just lose here? We just lost someone else. Is this? Oh, we lost.
I think Walking Keys jumped off.
Oh, Walking Keys jumped off. Okay. So Sinister, you've always been very opinionated, and you've got a lot of great insight. What do you think about all this? Is this good for the future of the game? Are we heading in the right direction? Give us your thoughts.
Me opinionated, Ron?
Oh,
Never.
Yeah.
No. I think this is a great step forward for Splinterlands. Obviously, a lot of excitement with the summoner tactics and the dual element summoners. So looking forward to seeing how this plays out in the meta. I think I goes probably without saying that I need to buy more packs at this point. But yeah, we have some time, so we'll figure it out. But definitely excited for the game. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in streaming. On Twitch, on YouTube, a lot of conversations in Discord happening. So all very good, all very exciting.
Awesome. That's high praise coming from one of Splinterland's probably toughest critics, I would say. Infidel, what do you think about all this? Are we on the right track?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this looks, first of all, this is like such a, I said it on my channel, but the art style of Rebellion is like such a massive level up. It looks amazing. And the card framing, the backgrounds, the characters themselves, they look amazing. I can't wait to see this stuff on merch. And I would just say, I am excited to see this like new evolution of this game. Like this is like a big deal. As Rogue pointed to, Chaos Legion had such a fingerprint and a footprint on what this was, and so did Untamed, and now we have this new Untamed cycling out in Modern, and this cycling in. This is like a real breath of fresh air, a new opportunity to try something new, to experience a different way, and then also for new people to come in and have, I think, more kind of like to escape some of the burden and the weight of, like, for instance, Kitty, Yod, and Llama that would have just maybe rolled you and you didn't have it and you couldn't get it. But like now you've got your angle, you've got your footprint. But more than that, I just think this is such an exciting time. It's so cool to see 150 people or whatever just still hanging out and 150 likes. We did 100 the other day with your town hall, 150 here tonight on YouTube. I love it because this is a special moment. Splinterland's like fun and rewarding. This is like when we spend our time and attention to this thing, we get something. And right now there's so many ways to look at it, whether you're watching the market, whether you're looking for those cards that you want, and maybe you think it's a great deal at $38, like Silence is saying, or maybe you don't and you're going to wait. But if you sell, then maybe you're going to get roasted and you're going to have to pay more. I love this moment. There's so many options of ways to attend. And so I'm having fun, and I can't wait to get off and keep playing.
Awesome. After Sound, you get to wrap us up here.
Sweet. Well, I've been waiting for this, as I said, for 2 years. As a Chaos Legion kind of player, or we'll call it the class of Chaos, I've been waiting for Untamed to rotate out. But honestly, just shout out to the team, creative, Call Me Tim, who's on. I mean, just the whole concept behind Rebellion, to really take a look at what happened with Chaos Legion, going through the bear market, everything that happened. We can already see the economic impact of what Rebellion has done for, asset prices and tokens. I can't wait to see what it's going to do for gameplay, because that's what I'm even more excited about.
Beautiful. You know what, guys? This has been an amazing Rebellion launch party. I've loved every minute of this. From the team sharing their talks about how this all came to be, to you guys just experiencing the cards and talking and playing them, being players. Like we've really covered a lot of ground here. I think that this is just the beginning of something beautiful. And I want to thank everybody for coming on, everybody for out there watching and listening and hitting that like button. And you know what? I think the perfect way to end this is with a song by Izaria and by After Sound. And so we're going to end it here, and we're going to be doing another town. I think it's a town square next Monday, but it's probably going to be more of a town hall again. We just got so much coming out. We're going to have Cryptomancer come on and talk about the brawls and the updating the brawls, which is going to have to happen because of the new modern format. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next time here on Splinterlands.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
This is a story.